early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma.
Get in the freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Well, good morning, everybody. Brock and Salk Show once again in Peoria, Arizona, here at Mariners Spring Training on Seattle Sports, on 710, seattlesports.com, and the Seattle Sports app. Thanks for being with us. I don't mean to start the show with a yawn, but, I mean, we've been here for 3 days, 3 games. The Mariners scored double digits in all of them. So, I mean, like, I don't really know what else is left to be said. I mean,
they just hit and win.
Just hit.
It's not that hard.
They just freaking hit just every day, just like bang out double-digit runs, move it along. Yesterday, you got a couple of home runs, or at least one home run, some power thrown in, and yeah, it's just
it's a simple game, Mike.
Pretty simple.
Mike,
see
when
the ball
you
hit the ball.
simplify the game, okay,
Yeah.
when you go to the gaps, when you keep it up the middle, look what's happening. They just can't be stopped.
They can't be stopped, and they are dominating every game they play right now. Now, I wouldn't say they dominated off of, Blake Snell to start the game. There were some other pitchers that they did a little bit more damage against than, say, Blake Snell, who started the game. But that's okay. I don't know why we're going to split hairs. I don't know why we're going to get into the details.
Yep.
We'll talk about their defense at some point, which is a little bit of a question in the infield. And, there's some other conversations. But it is nice to see the Mariners just getting hits.
Yes, I got to sit with Peg and Mike in some great seats. Thank you, Mariners, down there in the sunshine. I was wondering why everybody wasn't in their seats. Did you notice that?
Because they were all in the shade.
Yeah, they all had to crawl up into the shade creatures, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
How many times you get 85 and sunny? Sit in the sun.
Well, they live here. They get it every day.
I guess. Dodgers fans. There's Mariner fans there too, and there was a couple in front of me, and I think they uttered a thought that many Mariner fans, if you were watching yesterday, thought too, wow, this is fun. There's a lot of action.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going on. The ball is in play, and runners are stealing, and, good things are happening. And they're just this is it's a fun game when there's activity going.
There's a lot of movement.
And there's been a lot of movement the last 3 days.
It was fun. Yeah, it was enjoyable yesterday and just kind of fun to see. I thought Luis looked pretty good. Throwing 94 in his first start, definitely an important thing to see.
Yep.
He went 1 2/3 and gave up a walk. I was like, all right, let's get him out and just move it along here. Some of the guys that aren't going to make the team did not pitch nearly as well, and that's fine. And I'm sure the Dodgers would be saying the same thing if we were on LA radio today. So another nice day for the Mariners. I should let everybody know just sort of about the show today because it is stacked and packed.
Rack 'em.
Kevin Seitzer, who was phenomenal yesterday. If you missed it, you'll get a chance to hear from him at 6:30, and you can try to find out what did he say?
Son of a buck.
Son of a buck.
And I think that's got to be a hunting. That's got to be an elk. Right? Son of a buck.
Goldie liked it. He commented that we need to hear that phrase more. But then people were encouraging Goldie to use it on TV, and he said that's a danger zone for TV to say buck.
Good. Well, and also it's sort of like mixing two curse words.
Son of a buck.
Yeah, it's sort of putting two curse words together.
Yeah, it's a little dangerous.
I don't see that happening. But anyway, if you missed Sites, he was great at 6:30 yesterday. Dan Wilson's going to join us this morning at 7:20, so we're going to be a little funky with the way the 7 o'clock hour works to kind of accommodate his schedule, but you will hear Dan Wilson at 7:20. By then, we will have taped our interview with Logan Gilbert, which will run at 8:30.
Jeepers.
And then at 9:30, Bryce Miller, who we taped with yesterday, he was a lot of fun. That sets up Cal for tomorrow. We've already taped with Cal. And then oh, yes, we should be talking to Julio later today. Hopefully we'll run that either
Julio
tomorrow.
Gulio?
That would be Julio Gulio, yes.
Gulio.
No, Julio Rodriguez, who laced the double the other way yesterday. So just to set up the next couple of days for you guys and let you know who's still left to go, the Cal conversation will be a really good one, I think. Well, I know it will because we've talked to him already. And the one thing that stood out more than anything else, and I'm sure we'll play some of the sound early, is that we asked him about the change from one agent to another. He was with Scott Boras until this offseason, changed agents. Now he's got a new agent. And one of the things that Boras is most famous for is not wanting his guys to sign early. He wants them to go to free agency, no matter what.
Yep.
That's the rule. If you're with Boras, you play it out till the end, you go to free agency, and you maximize your money. He's not going to go with Boras anymore. And when we asked him whether or not he was willing to sign a deal or whether he needed to go to free agency, he said, I'm willing. I'm open to anything. I don't need to be a free agent.
I'm not closing that book.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll play that sound a little bit later, and I think that's an awfully important thing for the Mariners' future. And, I'm sure the automatic response, as I mentioned it to Wyman and Bob yesterday, and Bob said, great, make him an offer. Well, I think they have. I'm not saying that they haven't made him an offer, just that, maybe now with a new agent, there's a little bit newer conversation that can go on about Cal's future. So last night.
About last night.
So you got to hang with your parents last night.
I did, and happy trails.
Happy trails.
I won't say the other thing because it bothers you, and your face went white when I said it yesterday. I said, yeah, happy trails. Yep, happy trails. Got a good workout in, sat in the hot tub with the old man. It was great, of course.
The old man, your dad, or
yeah,
just
the
old man that happened to live there?
There's a lot of old men out there and women, a lot of them. And I think the loudest breather I've ever heard in a weight room.
Oh, really?
Yeah, built like a French bulldog, this guy. And he was, lifting, God bless him, for 65. He's got probably 30s. He's doing triceps. And it was just, wow. I mean, I was like,
do you have a tube of some sort?
No, none. And I thought, man, I wonder if that's part of the workout at that age, is you're pushing air, So he was really getting after it. And, the other day I had You're So Slay, and that really empowered me through the day.
Today?
He looked at me yesterday and said, ball player? And I was like, back in the day. Linebacker? and I think I elevated, levitated off there. I felt 10 feet tall the rest of the day.
Really?
So I took those 50s and started, you better believe I was a linebacker.
Wow. Don't tell Wyman that, because he will.
Oh, he'll hear this and he'll mock it.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
Yeah, good morning, Lefko.
As he should. He should definitely mock it.
Yes.
Well, I got to spend the evening with my parents again, and there wasn't too much fighting or arguing with the dog last night, which was good.
Good.
My dad and Walter seems to have patched things up, so they weren't arguing too much. I did, within like 5 minutes, hear my dad reference things that might be too loud 4 times.
Oh.
I mean, it's a constant battle for him, fighting against, hey, Dad, where should we go to eat? Well, we can go to this place or that one. That place is just too loud. Can't hear anything. It's too loud. Okay, so I guess we won't go there. Hey, should we sit inside? Well, we got to sit outside. The inside is too loud. Okay. Like, what if we're talking about where he was going to stay? Somebody says, well, I can't stay near the elevator.
Right.
It's too loud. People are going to be coming in and out all night. Oh, they're going to build a basketball hoop in my neighborhood. It better not be near us. Build it over near the pickleballs. I don't want to hear people playing basketball all day.
Too loud.
Too loud. So I've realized that a large portion of my dad's life is built around trying to maintain a level of quiet.
Yeah.
I suggested he get a shotgun and a hat like Clint Eastwood in El Camino and just kind of sit outside and yell at the kids as they go by.
I mean,
I heard your dad's itching to come on the show and defend himself.
He says he wants to do that tomorrow. Well, he's going to have to defend himself from this, because after dinner, I'm driving home. I drove, and my parents were in the car with me, and I said, hey, I just want to grab gas before we get home, so that I don't have to stop in the morning. They're like, okay, yeah, no problem. Where's the gas? There's one over here, sort of around the corner. It's in the back of this little, there's a million strip malls here. It's sort of in the back of that strip mall. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's perfect. So we go drive over there, and as we're getting there, I say, hey, is it sort of tucked back there? And my dad says, he says, yeah, I hope it's open. And I said, it's a gas station. What do you mean? He said, well, I hope it's open. I said, Dad, they don't close gas stations. Why would they close it? It's an automated process. And then my mom chirps in from the back seat, and she's like, well, it used to be that, you'd need somebody to fill up your gas for you. And I said, no, I know. I was there. It was the 80s, but it was over 30 years ago, and you've been getting gas steadily since then. You can't tell me that this is the first time you've realized that the gas stations are now automated.
Right.
I can't wait for you to turn into your dad.
I'm getting there.
Oh, he will.
So, all right.
And then we're going to point it out.
Hold on a minute. Hold on. This was their defense. This was my dad's defense. Well, I mean, I don't know what the gas stations are like at 3 a.m. and whether or not they, you can get gas there. I'm not up then. I said, okay, that's fair. They are open still at 3 a.m. just for a credit card. But it's 7 p.m. It's not 3 a.m. now. It's a perfectly normal time for a lot of people to be driving home from work.
Yeah.
Just because you're waking up at 4 a.m, having lunch at 10:30 and dinner at 4:30 and going to bed, that doesn't mean the gas stations are all closed. Unbelievable moment. Truly, truly shocking last night.
Well, especially because most of the gas stations now, you can still pump even if no one's there.
Of course. You don't need anybody out there.
Pretty funny.
If I needed to go inside and get something, okay, fine. Maybe they wouldn't be able to help me get a candy bar or something. But to pump gas?
Yeah.
My God.
Oh, he's going to come out.
Oh, he's going to come out firing.
Oh,
he's got a lot to say.
I hope you gird your loins.
I hope he brings it.
He will.
He better.
I know your father. He's not going to take this.
He better bring it because he's just getting
not even
crushed.
waiting till tomorrow. He comes strolling in here, 8:30. Screw Julio. I got something to say.
All right. Well, Julio went the other way yesterday. He wasn't the only one. Find out who had a little Oppo taco next. Need to know. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Clint Kubiak, your brand new OC, joining us right now in studio. What were some of the weapons here you were most intrigued by, or maybe you kind of started thinking once you knew you got the job, like,
obviously it starts with the quarterback. Really impressed with Gino, DK, Jax, Noah Fant. There's a lot of pieces to be excited about, but there's also going to be some new pieces we add to the roster. That's the really fun part of coaching is getting to be a part of guys' careers.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
This is Matt Coker from West Coast Men's Health. Has Viagra stopped working for you? Do you hate the side effects? If you've taken Viagra for any length of time, you already know that pills are not the solution to ED. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. No pills, no shots, no surgery. We can also treat Peyronie's disease. Our non-invasive treatment for ED is painless and highly effective. We have treated thousands of men just like you. Stop living with this problem and do something about it. Do yourself a favor, do your partner a favor, and call us today.
Call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com. HSA cards welcome and financing available.
Hey, nice job, Pete. I like those clean lines. Fellas, do we have anyone that can get to Greenport today?
At Corey's Landscaping, the staffing plan is in the weeds.
Anthony, we need that leaf blower over here. 3 more new customer requests just came in. Who wants to work some overtime?
He needs to dig up quality landscapers and fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a walk-up with central air and a skylight, and you found it. Now, every Friday night, you get to fall asleep to the sound of your downstairs neighbors' dance parties. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with available financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. Today, you're going to pay down your credit card bill. But you decide when you'll pay it.
Before the due date, so those interest charges don't get you.
But you decide if you pay it in full.
But you definitely should, because again, interest charges.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Seattle Sports is in Arizona for spring training baseball. Go behind the scenes with Brock and Salk all this week from 6 to 10
on Seattle Sports.
It's time to go all in at Toyota of Kirkland. All in on their commitment to quality, innovation, and durability that makes Toyota of Kirkland certified pre-owned and used vehicles the best in the market. When a product is made better, it lasts longer, and Toyota of Kirkland is the place to be to go all in on your next used vehicle for that reason. With a large inventory of certified pre-owned and used vehicles with incredible savings, why not visit their wonderful staff and beautiful showroom today at Toyota of Kirkland or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and go all in on your next car.
O'Brien.
Washington State ranks number 5 in the country for auto theft. The most high-risk vehicles are Kia, Hyundai, Ford F-150, F-250, and F-350. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Share this information with friends and family. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. These tips brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
Febreze.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze. La 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 la.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to the A to Z savings event at AutoZone.
Yeah, happy to be here. Can I get some rotors?
Would you like brake pads with that?
How much are the brake pads?
Free with the rotors.
Free. Really?
Really, free.
Okay, I also need some oil.
Would you like an oil filter with that?
Yeah, how much is that?
Free with 5 quarts of oil.
Free? Really?
Really, free. It's part of the A to Z savings event.
You might as well call it A to free.
At AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
All right, I don't want anybody to turn this off and think it's just a rerun of yesterday, but the Mariners offense just keeps doing the same thing. Double-digit runs for the 3rd straight game, Brock. This time they drop 11 on the Dodgers. More familiar faces, though, doing damage in this one. Julio lacing a double to right center. And then how about this? Cut to Mitch Garver going the other way.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch to him. Swung on, lifted, right field. This is hit well. Back is Rosario. He's twisting around. He's on the track. He's looking up, and this is gone. It's onto the berm. Mitch Garver rides one out the other way. A solo home run. And the Mariners add on to the lead. It's 5-1 Mariners.
Little X Factor alert, right? The 2 Mitches now have both gone deep. And look, veterans hitting home runs in spring training off of kids that probably aren't going to be in the big leagues is not a cause for excitement. It's just not.
Unfortunately.
A guy like Mitch Garver should be able to read a pitcher that's not going to be in the big leagues this year and take him deep.
Mm-hmm.
But Mitch Garver with a shortened swing that led to 2 nice singles the other day and an opposite field home run yesterday is at least a reason to believe a little bit that there's a possibility.
He just walked in, by the way, a little bit ago.
Yeah.
I said, nice bomb.
Yeah. He did not seem excited to talk about that.
Sula.
Yeah. Well, I think he knows that veterans like himself should be hitting bombs against pitchers that are never going to be in the big leagues, and when they, especially in the Arizona heat, in a place like we were yesterday. So, look, I get it, but it was nice. It was good to see it, especially seeing Julio go the other way as well.
Yeah. I believe Mitch was also 1 for 1 on his challenges.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool in person for the first time.
Oh, yeah, you saw that for the first time.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty quick, pretty easy.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No. And I think you're right. I was actually telling my dad about that and the analytics behind it, and the catcher's kind of...
He's the only one.
Yeah, he's got a little better feel.
I saw a pitcher yesterday make a call, and they were like, yeah, no. Like, they don't know. The especially if the catcher frames it well, they don't know what the strike is. The batter has no idea. Only the catcher should be making that call. Luis Castillo started, looked good. Sat at 94, victim of some tough defense, which has been a bit of a bit of a thing down here. We'll get to that in a little while. Pretty typical Cactus League kind of start. George Kirby will make his first start of the spring today against the A's in Peoria. Might be the most big league park the A's play in all year. We'll see. Head off to Sacramento when this is all said and done.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Combine week, Brock and Indy. John Schneider meeting yesterday with the media. The biggest news coming out of it. He says he'll meet with Gino's agents this week about an extension. He says Gino is their guy. Cut 4. Here he is talking about Gino and about what he'd like to pay him.
Yeah, I'm really good friends with his agent. He's got a really choppy feel. His agent played at Penn State. I feel old, dude, but scouted him too. Yeah, we've had great conversations with him. But obviously, he's confident. I mean, that's the way he rolls. So, yeah, I don't want to get into specific conversations.
Gino's confident, but he's friends with the agent, and they're having productive conversations.
As you know, Mike, they're good friends.
Okay, well, you want to hear about the long-term plan at quarterback? Here's more cut 5 from Schneider.
I'm asking you, what's your long-term beyond 2025, 26 plan for the quarterback?
Well, hopefully the board talks to us, right? And maybe we draft a quarterback, right? And it just hasn't gone that way.
Yeah, I'll dig into this a little bit in Blue 88. Hopefully the board talks to us. And I think what that means is hopefully where we see guys and where we value them and where we really hope we can get somebody that he's actually there for the taking, right? That house is actually on the market for the price we want it, and that market is going to speak to us, and we're going to pull the trigger.
Not unlike the way Kevin Seitzer was spoken to this offseason. And
that's right.
You'll hear the rest of that story coming up in just a few minutes. Seahawks did announce lineman Jason Peters has retired, Brock, but going to stay with the team in a veteran mentor type of role.
Yeah, not necessarily front office, but I think a little bit more with the players, a little Mo Morris, a little working down there closer to the locker room, and that's, to me, a cool thing.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
I think we've been playing our entire lives, so we're very close to it. So much for any momentum coming off that great win in Florida for the Kraken. They gave up 7 goals to start the game yesterday. Lost 7-2 in St. Louis. Joey Decord pulled after 5. Newcomer Nicholas Kakko, who's different from Capo Kakko, he gave up the last 2 on just 6 shots. Riker Evans and Brandon Montour both finished -3 on the night. PU. They are off until Saturday when they take on Vancouver at home. You keep this up, and they're going to have to be a very, very hard or really simple conversation at the end of this season.
Correct.
Yeah.
Personnel just not good
enough.
Nope.
Just not good.
You see what Luka did last night in his return to L.A.?
I did not.
That'd be a triple-double.
Oh, really?
Was he doing push-ups before the game over to the Dallas bench? Did he hug every Maverick except Jason
he returned
Kidd?
to Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that must have been. Oh, he wouldn't hug Jason Kidd?
Nah, I didn't even look at Jason.
Didn't even look at it? Oh, is
Didn't
there
even
some
look
sort
at
of
him.
anger there?
And by the way, my
It's
beloved...
not Jason Kidd's fault. He didn't know.
Kid didn't trade him.
My beloved Washington Huskies look like they're not going to make the Big Ten tournament.
Oh, no?
No, they now find themselves in dead last place.
Pretty hard to not make your conference tournament.
Yeah, you just can't be dead last or second to last.
I got my Oklahoma State sweatshirt on today.
3/4 zip.
I'm ready.
Home finale tonight.
I'm ready for the home finale against
Cincinnati.
Let's go, Pokes. All right, that's everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here in the Brock and Salk Show. I want to make sure we get out on time so you guys can really listen to Kevin Seitzer.
Son of a buck.
If you want the Mariners to hit, I think you'll like this interview. It's next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
We've been going position group by position group. We move on to safeties, Dave. So you got Julian Love, who's entering the first year of a 3-year extension. He had a great season. You got Kobe Bryant in the final year of his rookie deal. Rayshon Jenkins is the most likely cap casualty here because he's got a $7.9 million cap hit. And if they release him, they save $5.4 million. He had some plays, but he didn't have $7.9 million cap hit plays.
I agree. Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
All right, Mike Salk here, and clearly the weather in Arizona is a lot better than it is at home in Seattle. So if you've been noticing your utility bills a whole lot higher this winter, or maybe you've been feeling a draft, That just could be because your attic and crawl space aren't properly insulated. That's why you call Crawl Pros. That's why I did. And they came in and did a great free corner-to-corner inspection of my crawl space and attic, and then they fixed any problem they found. They can do the same for you, and you might not have to pay much for it because utility companies have special incentives right now to help with the cost of having your home properly insulated. Puget Sound Energy, once-in-a-lifetime deal. If you're a PSC customer and your home was built before 1990, you may qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to get that crawl space and attic properly insulated. So don't wait. Take advantage right now. Call Crawl Pros. Learn what's going on behind that crawl space or attic hatch for free, and then what energy rebates you're eligible for. If you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, make sure to schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
Progressive presents Renters MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Emily Neal's 70-inch TV. Because after watching her second-grade students yell at each other for hours, there's nothing Emily enjoys more than watching super-rich housewives also yell at each other. Why? Because those women are not her responsibility. And that's why her TV is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit GetEthos.com. That's GetEthos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
This Black History Month, National University honors those who have broken barriers and paved the way for future generations. If you're a parent and a professional, a dreamer and a doer, NU is here to support you with flexible online classes and career-focused resources, so you can earn your degree while balancing work, family, and everything in between. Visit nu.edu to learn more. That's nu.edu.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
The noon hour of the Bump and Stacy Show is powered every day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi. My daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are gonna need a bigger cake.
Now through March 4th, get fast, reliable Xfinity Gig Internet for $25 a month for 1 year with no annual contract and Wi-Fi equipment included when you add an unlimited mobile line. And ask how to get an eligible free 5G phone with trade-in. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Requires PayPal split and auto-pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced mobile speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds and actual internet speeds vary.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Lee Johnson Auto Family. This is King. This organization's a special one. They call it the Lee Johnson Auto Family, and it's not just a name, it's not just some cliche. They foster an environment for us to become a family. to work together to really become close, and they show us in a lot of different ways that they do value us. Is it perfect? No, no place is. But I've been very thankful to be here in the almost 10 years and have every plan to stay here for a lot longer and just watch it continue to grow.
He's fun and professional, which explains why so many people visiting Lee Johnson Kia ask for him by name. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I got no notes for this interview, Brock. I got no questions written down. I didn't know it was going to happen, but I'm excited for it. And it's one that we were definitely planning and hoping to do while we were down here. New Mariner hitting coach Kevin Seitzer is with us. Thank you for coming, and welcome to the Seattle Mariners organization.
Well, thanks. I'm ecstatic to be here.
I got a million questions about what you're doing and what this is going to look like, but I've got to first introduce you to people, and I was hoping maybe you could take me back to 1987 for a moment, because I think I've known your name since then. I was young, but when you replaced George Brett at third base, like, it's kind of a thing. And even in Boston, it was like, who is this guy who's going to come in? He's so good, they're going to move George Brett? What was that like in 1987 in Kansas City when they tell you, hey, we're moving George Brett across the diamond for you?
Well, I got called up the year before, September call-up, and, they just come off winning the World Series in 85, and they had like 8 of their starters that were hurt on the DL at the time. And so they were about 18 games out of first. They gave a lot of us young kids an opportunity to play. And fortunately, I was coming off my hottest month of my life in AAA, and they called me up, and I just kept going, and I did really good. And so I ended up making the team in 87 as a rookie, the opening day first baseman, and George was at third. And a couple weeks in, George got hurt, and when he came back, they said, he's too old, the third base taking too big a toll on him, we're going to move him to first, so we're going to put you back at third, where I signed as third baseman. And so I didn't really replace him.
Okay.
I switched positions with him.
Did that make it easier?
It didn't matter. For me, it
He's
was
a
like
legend.
I was just a kid. I looked at it as I'm just a piece here. These are the big dogs around. I'm just going to do what I do and try and help the team in whatever way I can. So I really, since I signed, I got into pro ball, and when I got that first check for $600 a month in rookie ball, I'm like, holy cow, I'm getting paid to play baseball. It's like, it doesn't get any better than this. And so I didn't get caught up in, pressure or anything, because it's like, however far I go. This is just so cool that I get to play baseball and get a check for it. Mm-hmm. So, and my mindset never changed when I got to the big leagues. I was just going to have fun every day and see what happened.
By the way, George Brett too old at that point. Just so you know, 1987, George Brett was 34. Okay,
and but he'd been hurt a lot.
In 1988, the next year, he had an 898 OPS. 2 years later at 37, it was 902, and he still had 3 years of productivity after that.
All because he went to first base.
There you go. You saved his career. That was nice of you.
There you go.
What is the best George Brett story? What is the strangest, weirdest, most intense George Brett story?
Oh, goodness. He was unbelievable to play with. And this isn't strange, but for me, it was who George was, and it was the biggest impression that he made on me as a young player. And literally, it was day one that I got called up to the big leagues. And I grew up in a little town in central Illinois, St. Louis Cardinal fan, psychotic Cardinal fan, and I just loved watching these guys play. Well, this was back in the day when you'd hit a ground ball, routine ground ball, and they just jogged to first, just nice and easy. I'm like, oh, these guys are my legends. That's just so amazing how cool they look, just jogging to first. And I didn't play that way, and it wasn't allowed to play that way when we were coming up through the minors, but I always thought it's like if you ever get to the big leagues, that's when you can be cool. That's when you can jog. And so I get there the first day. I'm sitting on the bench. I didn't start the first game when I got called up, and George was up, and literally his first at bat, he hits a one-hopper back to the pitcher. First inning, one-hopper back to the pitcher, and he takes off running as hard as he can stink and run to first, ran through the bag. And I'm sitting there with my mouth hanging open going, you got to be kidding me. I mean, this is the legend right here. And he just went that hard.
Wow.
2 at-bats later, exact same thing. Come back to the mound, did exactly the same thing. It impressed me so much, I go, that's how I'm going to play the rest of my career. Yeah. That's how I played my whole life. I always got complimented because of how hard I played. I said, I ain't going to quit now. I'm going to keep freaking doing it. St. Louis Cardinals didn't play the game the right way. That's what it boils down to.
Mm-hmm. Spoken like a Kansas City Royal.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So why are you here? Why Seattle after, a decade in Atlanta? And I'm sure some other opportunities and options. Why all the way up here in the Pacific Northwest?
Honestly?
Yeah.
No,
just honestly.
No,
lie to us, please.
No, because you're probably going to go, no way, he's not telling us the truth. But this is the honest truth. After the Braves let me go, I wasn't coming back. It was probably, I don't know, a couple days after I got home after the season. So probably 4 or 5 days after the season ended, and I was like 9. I think there were 9 hitting jobs that opened up, and I was under contract for the next year, so I could work or not work. I was still going to get paid. And I'm like, I don't know what I want to do, because a few years ago I told my wife, I'm so happy here. It's been so great here. I'm going to turn 63 here next month, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. I may
go fishing.
And I don't know, I love what I do. I have passion for what I do, but starting over in a new place, you have to build trust, relationships, get to know guys. It's a new program. There's new expectations. All front offices are different from an analytics standpoint. And I had the best of all worlds in Atlanta, being able to use everything the way I wanted to use it to present it to the players. And so, I was like, I don't know. Well, after about 3 or 4 days, I'm like, yeah, I still want to work. I still want to work. So literally I started praying every day really hard. 9 hitting jobs open. I don't want to have 5 or 6 interview processes I have to go through. I don't want to, I don't want this to be hard. I want to be where God wants me. I want it to be crystal clear. I want to be guided and directed every step of the day. That's how I've been a Christian for 30-some years, and it's like that's how I live my life. And so it's like, okay, nothing's changing. We just got a little different situation here. So I'm like, God, you want me to shut her down? Then make it clear. Nobody call. And if you do want me to keep going, make it crystal clear where you want me. Now, no phone calls.
Door closed?
Door closed.
Honey-do
3 weeks. And I tell my wife, I go, you may want to start looking at some trips we're going to start doing. We may have to start traveling. When I leave to go to work, I'm gone 8 months. And then when I come home for 4 months, my wife, she's ready to go on vacation. Well, my vacation is my recliner at my house, and I don't want to leave home. I love home, and it's wonderful. And we got, 4 of our 5 grandkids are 20 minutes away that I don't get to see all during the season.
So who calls you?
So Alex Anthopoulos calls me. It's 3 weeks after. We got hitting coaches getting hired all over the place. Hitting coaches changing teams, going here, more hitting coaches. I'm sitting there, I'm like, and my wife goes, well, you told God to make it clear.
Yeah.
And so that's what he's doing. And Alex calls me and he goes, Seattle just called last night, so be expecting a phone call. I said, okay, thanks. So they called me. They said, you still want to work? Yep, I want to work. So we'd like we'd like to interview you. Yeah. Perfect. So that was a Monday. 2 days later, I had a long interview with Dan and Edgar. And then on Friday, I had another interview with Jerry, Justin, and Andy. And on Monday, Jerry called me and offered me the job.
Awesome.
And you know, one of the big factors, I've been the head guy my whole career. This will be my 17th year as a hitting coach, and they're like, you know, Edgar's going to be the head guy. And I go, perfect. I'm like, this is perfect, because through the interview process, the conversation, and you know, they're asking me questions, and so, you know, I'm just shooting from my heart, and this is who I am, and it's like, if this ain't what you're looking for, this ain't the right fit.
Right.
And so as the interview unfolded, Edgar's making comments, responses to what I'm saying, and I'm like, son of a buck, he thinks exactly the same way I do. And it was like, he's really, I mean, gap to gap, stay in the middle of the field, don't try and do too much, don't try and go deep, don't get big. We're just going to let homers happen and not force it, and two-strike approach and grinding, situational hitting. It's critical, got to do it. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, this is perfect. And so for me, I said, this is the best of all worlds, because he has been with these guys for so long. Even though he only came in at the end of the season, he's been around them for forever.
Yep.
Him and Dan both, and so they know how these guys think and how they tick. And that's the hardest part in our job, coming to a new team, is getting to know what makes them tick and what buttons to push whenever they get out of whack. And so I'm like, this is perfect. And then it's like, if he thinks the same way I do, and we're going to talk about adjustments and how to play the game and how to think at the plate and da-da-da-da-da, all of this, I'm like, if anybody looks at me weird, I go, I got a Hall of Famer right here that thinks the same way. So let's go ahead and focus on this.
So now you're here talking to Kevin Seitzer, new Mariner hitting coach, and bringing a lot of personality and everything to the table. I can see why you interview well and why you're a relational kind of a coach, and bring all of your experience and everything else. So you get here, and you know that the offense was problematic last year, and really for the last couple of years. You know you're dealing with the hardest park in baseball to hit in, and that's not, you know, an opinion. That's essentially been proven now to be factual in a lot of ways. Where do you start? What is the beginning of the process to get this team to have a good offense?
So after I got hired, since when Dan and Edgar took over, during the off season, I would go down and get on my bike, and I would watch a game every day. And I just fast forward to our offense. I wanted to hear the broadcast. I wanted to watch the games. I wanted to see body language. I wanted to see the swing. I wanted to see the focus, the takes, and all of that.
What'd you see?
And I saw a tremendous amount of grinding, great at-bats that last month of the season that was pointed in the right direction, and I could already see Edgar's thumbprint on these guys and the buy-in. Based on conversations I had with him, it was validated in what I saw too. And so, you know, I got excited about that, because it's like you could tell that he made an impression on him to simplify some things, and there was some confusion, some apprehension, didn't want to chase, so guys were, you know, in between and careful at the plate, and that's not a mindset that a hitter can have. And so Edgar got him aggressive, got him on the fastball, got him in the middle of the field, and they started getting after it, and you could tell Dan had them playing hard. They're running the bases, they're getting after it, and there was just a lot of good stuff. Then I spend time individually just watching swings and seeing things that I saw, taking down notes. Then we talked to Edgar. I mean, we had lots of conversations over the winter. And then once I get down here, I got a little bit of a mindset as to what I'm expecting to see. And Edgar's filled me in on who they are mentally, emotionally, things like that. And, you know, all hitters got little demons they have to deal with. And, to be able to help them get over the hump that way is something that, hitting coaches have to really, really focus on. So, get in the cage with them, and it's like I had conversations with all of them, checked on them a couple of times, nothing big, just get to know them type conversations. How you doing? Did you have a great Christmas? Great. How's your swing feeling? Body feeling good? Yep, good. Okay, I'll see you in spring, because I don't want to talk about any mechanical changes. They sent me some videos of what they looked like. They wanted to know what I thought, and I gave them minimal feedback, because until you get with them eye to eye in that cage, you don't know how they're going to respond to it based on, I'm going off a few swings of soft toss. And so then it's just been a very, very great transition so far. I already feel the openness, the love, the energy, the focus. It's the work, everything. The work ethic's just been through the roof. And so I couldn't be happier. And then it's like you see the new cages that they did, and that's like the Taj Mahal for hitting coaches. It's just beautiful. And the complex is stinking beautiful. We can get all the work done we need, the schedule, the coaches, the people, the front. Everybody's together.
So the biggest piece for us that we talk about so much is Julio. He's the best player on this team. He's the most talented guy on this team. And the last couple of years, there's been inconsistency. He's not quite reached that potential that I think everyone knows he has. Personally, I keep looking at it and seeing just the number of pitches he swings at.
Right.
55% last year, which was quite a bit above the major league average of, I think, 47. You were with Acuna, who swings at like 30% of the pitches he sees.
Well, Albie swings at 78% of the pitches.
All right, that's the other side of it. What is the approach with the best player on this team, Julio Rodriguez?
It's just going to continue. My focus is continue to build off the path, the direction that Edgar put him on at the end of the season, because he finished really strong. He's been a swing guy, he's been a chase guy, but he's also been a damage guy. And so there's good and the bad. And what I found, all the young kids that came up, the Acuñas, Albies, Rileys, those guys, Michael Harris, that as they came through the system, they had their adjustment issues that they had to make to big league pitching. And when, he came up crashing on the scene, all of a sudden pitchers start making adjustments. Sometimes hitters can try and make the wrong adjustments in order to be ready to hit what they're trying to do to you. And I feel like what Edgar did with him is really get him locked in on a consistent approach and plan to where he was staying in the middle of the field. Guys are going to have chase. That chase comes with this game because of the electric pitching that we see nowadays, the high velos, the late breaking stuff, the strike to ball stuff. Guys, if you get on hitters too much about don't chase, then you're making them late on 90% of the fastballs they're going to see. So the approach, being consistent with the approach, the more you think middle of the field to opposite field, the better you see the ball. So you're able to check off the secondary stuff that are chase pitches more often than you were if you were just in see ball, hit ball, and just swing it, thrown ball.
Last thing for me, and Kevin Seitzer here with us, and it was just one example, so it's very small sample size, but Mike and I were watching yesterday in the cage with one of the groups, and you were right behind, and it looked from my perspective that there's some pretty good communication, just kind of talking through the process. I think we've known here, and getting to experience you for 20 minutes, verbal guy, like to communicate, which is awesome. Are you a talker? Is that kind of this is what I'm going to bring to the table? There is going to be a lot of communication. This isn't a distant hitting coach that you wonder, well, what is a hitting coach even doing? You seem to be pretty proactive.
You have to be proactive, but your timing, the message, the delivery is the key. And, when I'm doing an interview for 20 minutes, you guys are asking me questions and I'm talking.
Yep.
But when I talk to these guys, part of coaching is, they don't want to hear a full dissertation on something. They just want a nugget to help with this or help with that. And so the conversations a lot of times are me asking questions and then giving them feedback of what I see and a little, try this with your hands, try this with your setup, or whatever it is, a little tweak or adjustment. And usually those conversations are the majority 30 seconds, but sometimes there'll be a 2-minute one when a guy wants to dig in deeper, but it's him asking me my questions. But I learned a really, really cool lesson when I first got into coaching. And it was in staff meetings with front office people, and they'd ask me something about a hitter, and, I'd tell them what I thought. Well, it was in detail, and they asked me what I thought, and I wanted to make sure that they understood exactly what I thought. And after a couple of these meetings, my manager called me in the office. He goes, "I'm going to give you a piece of advice." He goes, when they ask you your opinion, he goes, they don't want this. They want this.
Yeah.
And
since we're on radio, you just went from a large
a foot,
a large scale
to an
inch.
Yeah. Reader's Digest version.
Yeah.
Just hit them with the fact. And that's something that stuck with me. I never forgot it. When it comes to interviews, that's a different story. But, that stuck with me. And these guys don't want a dissertation either. They just want a nugget. And so, in the land of ADD that we live in right now, they can't handle too much. So you just give them a nugget, see how it adjusts, and then go from there.
3 names that you're excited to work with this year. I know it's everybody, but give me 3 that just jump out to you. Like, I'm psyched to work with this dude.
Well, obviously Julio. Dylan Moore is another one.
So Jay Buhner said the same thing. We talked to Jay Friday, and I know there's a lot of controversy here between Jay Bone Buhner and then Harry Hillbone. I know there's a big bone fight.
Boneyard.
Yes. Jay said the same thing. We said, give me a pick to click. He's like, oh, it's Dylan Moore, no doubt. Why Dylan Moore?
Because I feel like there's so much untapped in his ability. He was in Atlanta. I think it was 2015. He was in AA, and he was one of those kids that comes over, just for a fill-in on a big league game. And there's probably in all my years as a hitting coach, there's been about 5 kids that when they come over, I get excited to see them. That sucker was a little get-after-it gamer, grinder, fighter when he was just doing his flips in the cage, had a smile on his face, intensity, work ethic, and he just lit my day up, and I told him every time he came over, and then he was gone.
Do you know his story of his first game?
No.
His first was his first inning of his first game. He made 3 errors at shortstop in his first game.
Oh, my.
It was one of the worst
Third base or shortstop?
That's a good question. Now,
maybe it was
third. You're right.
Yep.
But he made 3 errors. It was
so hard.
It was awful.
It was like, please, Lord, don't hit him in the ball again, please.
One of the worst debuts
Been there, done that.
I've ever seen. And I don't think we expected that there was going to be much more Dylan Moore in our future here in Seattle.
Yeah.
Last year he wins a Gold Glove.
Right.
I mean, that was obviously just the worst inning he's ever had because he's a heck of a fielder and obviously a grinder and bounce back from that. Give me one more. Give me one more name. Who else are you enjoying working with?
JP. Yeah, I like the adjustments that he's made this offseason. 2 years ago, had a big year, great numbers, scuffled last year. And I don't want to shortchange anybody else. Polo and Randy. It's Mitch. There's so many. Mitch and Mitch, both of them, and Cal. I mean, I've fallen in love with all of them. It's one of the things. It's like as a hitting coach, you feel like you adopt a whole new family of kids that you just inherited, and it's like this is so cool, and I already feel a connection with all of them, and it couldn't be better.
Well, what's great is they all hit, There's going to be a statue of you and Edgar.
Yes. Arm in arm, arms around each other. Yeah, you'll be a Seattle legend.
It'll be Edgar and then Mini-Me.
That's all right. That's all right.
After what we've seen the last few years, I don't know. It might be a giant statue. We would definitely like to do this again. It's a pleasure to meet you, and a lot of fun to hear the strategy and the plan.
Yep.
And the response here, as you might imagine, on our text machine, it was pretty tremendous. So thank you so much, Kevin Seitzer. We'll be right back. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com.
Fourth down territory. Going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
What part of football has changed, and do you like it?
2-point conversions. Like, we are chasing points. The game has changed. 2-point conversions and fourth downs. So we're seeing coaches dive into the data like a lot of people do with baseball. And I like it, and it is weird at the same time because I'm not used to seeing these fourth down conversions or attempts and these 2-point conversions.
Fourth down territory. Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with available financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we are committed to giving you quality workmanship and white glove service that exceed your expectations. Get our exclusive leak armor installation backed by a lifetime warranty. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys! I love this song!
I love these nachos.
I love our kickball league! Ugh! I love this guy!
What's your name?
You know what I'd love?
A ride when it's time to head out. If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
T-Mobile 5G home internet keeps getting better. Get our fastest connection loaded with benefits. Get T-Mobile's best home internet starting at $55 a month with auto pay and any voice line. Plus, price lock. We won't raise your rate on internet. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/home internet.
Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Guarantees regular monthly rate plan price of fixed wireless 5G internet data with qualifying service. After $15 bill credit with postpaid voice line plus $5 a month without auto pay with debit or bank account. Regulatory fees included for qualifying accounts. $35 connection charge applies. Speeds vary due to factors affecting cellular networks.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-292-7788. 800-292-7788. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. Call 800-948-7878. That's 800-948-7878. 800-948-7878.
Welcome to NFL Flag. In this game, there's a position for everyone. No matter who you are.
Let's go! Throw what you got!
Lace up your cleats, smear on your eye black, step out on the field, and start having fun. This is flag football, and this game is our game.
This game! Our game! This game! Our game! This game! Our game!
Visit NFL.com to find a league and get playing today.
1, 2, 3, let's play!
Something amazing is happening here. The next era of AI has arrived. CDW data engineers are helping organizations harness the power of AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. The power to run workloads faster means greater productivity, giving your business a better shot at success. Intel and CDW make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Intel
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Eward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just Mike.
Eward. Not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
Good morning. Hope everybody's having a fun drive to work. Whatever it is that you know, maybe it's later in the day. Maybe you're listening on the app, Seattle Sports app. Maybe you're listening at the gym later. I don't know. I don't know where you are. I know where I am. I'm right where I want to be. Right in the center of it all, right?
I was kind of curious after Monday.
Right,
could he continue over with the fun?
Mm-hmm.
And this is your happy place. Can it be a happy place every day this week?
Yeah.
And I think that answer is
absolutely,
definitively yes.
I just love being around baseball. I love this sport. It does. You know, I talked to Wyman and Bob yesterday, and yeah, the weather.
Great guest.
Huh?
Were you a great guest?
I think I give great guests. You'd have to ask Bob or Dave, but I think I give great guests. I've always said that, and I'll continue to stand by it.
That sounds really inappropriate. I don't know why that sounds so inappropriate.
I give great guests. Yes. But I was on with them, and in addition to just being excited about the weather and this and that, I was telling Bob, and I think you feel it as well. We've talked about it. It's impossible.
Yep.
You would have to be the most cynical human on earth to sit here with us this week, be around the guys, be around the management, be around the people that matter to this team. It would be impossible. I don't care if you are the most jaded blogger on the planet, the most jaded Twitter troll. If you sat here with us and heard everything that we hear and see everything that we see, you could not help but be optimistic. You can't help it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't think that's unique to the Mariners. There's probably a couple of teams. If you were in White Sox camp, I think it would be hard. You still wouldn't be optimistic.
You know, you keep saying that. I'm going to actually dispute it on this Wednesday morning. I've thought about two things.
You think that even in White Sox camp, they're optimistic?
I've thought about two things. Number one, I've not made enough of a scene. Like I
would disagree with that.
Yeah, no, I feel like
You've made quite a scene.
No, over the next couple days, I don't like what I'm becoming. I'm molded into like here's the baseball rules. Here's the unwritten rules. Here's things you do. Here's things you don't do. So I feel like I got to just go high and tight and give some cheat. Like I got to do something to make a scene here.
Well, you said you wanted to throw a football around with Brian Wu and Bryce Miller.
I do. They will not catch.
No,
they will not be on the receiving end.
I don't
will
want
not
any part of
injure
that.
anybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's a number one. But you have said you could go to all these other camps and it would feel this way. I'm going to dispute that a little bit, and maybe this is totally prisoner of the moment. Right? Peel the onion back for all of you out there. We have taped a bunch of interviews because of the guys' different schedules. I don't think there's a lot of Cal Raleighs and Logan Gilberts and Bryce Millers and just the guys that have grown up together, that have grown in front of our eyes, that have the stuff that makes them.
I agree with that, but also, Brock, just to be frank, You don't think if you were in Baltimore Orioles camp, Yankees camp,
you would love
Red
Gunnar
Sox
Henderson.
camp?
You would love some of their guys, but there's not a turd on this roster.
No, absolutely not.
There's just
that's definitely true.
And there's turds on a lot of rosters, and there were turds on early rosters here.
Yeah, that's true.
That you're just like, and it was clicky.
No,
and
there's
it
a
was.
lot of.
I think there's a lot of teams that are very much like some of the early years here.
Say
where
what I've said
there's
before.
that click, and there's that click, and there's that click, and there's not that here.
There's no AirPods here.
There's no AirPods.
I keep saying it, but it's bizarre.
Yes.
Nobody walks in with their AirPods in. They're all talking to each other and around each other.
And
No, I think
Julio
that's
and Louis and the guys that make, tons of coin and they drive the G-Wagon and the nice things. Guess what? They're as normal as the guy in minor league camp.
Totally true.
That does not exist everywhere.
No, I think that's absolutely
thank you very much.
So yesterday got out to go to the game, and just a couple of notes from yesterday's game. And again, none of these should be taken too seriously. It was great to see Mitch Garver go the other way for a home run. As I said earlier, Mitch Garver should hit home runs against non-major league pitching, but 2 hits the other day with a shortened swing.
It is a
opposite
shorter
field.
swing, by the way.
It sure looks it.
I don't know if that's intentional and compact. I'll go in the cage. I'll make a scene.
Please
I'll
do.
ask some questions.
But going the other way, I think is a good sign. Julio goes the other way as well for a big opposite field double. That was great. A couple other things. This has been a recurring observation.
B-dubs?
Ben Williamson sure looks like a major leaguer to me. And I know that, guys like Keith Law tell me, well, the
swing's
not good. You know what it looks like to me? A major league swing. I mean, they all look the same. I don't know what.
Not to me.
Oh, stop it.
No, I could see
Stop it.
No, the barrel feel, Mike.
You could see the hole in the swing.
Just the barrel feel.
I'm sure there's a problem. I'm sure there's a reason it's not as good a swing as somebody else's. But every time I watch him, it sure looks like a good swing.
Yeah.
It sure looks like he's gotten on base a whole lot. He runs the bases hard and well when he gets there, and the defense is A+. I asked Perry Hill about it yesterday, about the defense, and he just said it's just that he does everything well and consistently. It's not one specific special thing. He goes to his left. He goes to his right. Yesterday he made a really nice play going back on a fly ball. He comes in and charges and has a good arm. He just kind of does it all well.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me to imagine we're not going to see him at some point this year.
Yeah. If the swing just is competent, right? Just if in any way, like Rojas, right? I mean, what did Rojas end up hitting at the end of the year? Was an OPS around 600 or darn close to? I know he started off gangbusters.
If it was over that, it's only because of the very beginning of the season.
But he didn't kill this team because he played Gold Glove caliber third base, and that can still be a big deal in play.
And in theory, this guy's a much better defensive player than Rojas.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see Ben Williamson at some point.
Did you stick around and watch Harry Ford?
I saw the
Where were you
hit. Yeah, I saw he ripped a single into left center.
Yeah. Another good at bat, dude, as an athlete.
Yeah.
Now, did you watch him throw down to second?
I did. Saw that as well.
That was a little.
That wasn't as good.
Just a little juiced. Just a little juiced.
I'm going to ask this question, and I don't mean it to be too leading because, again, it's spring training. But I've been to 2 games, and I've watched J.P. Crawford make 3 errors.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that. I mean, that may mean absolutely nothing, but I've seen him bobble 2 balls and throw 1 away. That doesn't feel like something that's sustainable. Like, if that's going to happen, we got a major problem.
Yes.
Because you look around this infield. Bob asked me this yesterday. How do you feel about the infield? Defensively?
How do you ask you?
Just like that. Well, also by stating how poorly he felt about the infield. But defensively, I think you got a question mark at all 4 positions. Certainly 3. I mean, you look at it and say, okay, first base, Luke Raley is not a first baseman. He's an outfielder who's playing first base. Fine. But that's not his strength. If Donovan Solano plays over there, I think he will be the shortest first baseman I've ever seen.
Since Pee Wee Reese.
And I don't think Pee Wee Reese played a lot of first base. And that may be an even bigger problem because the guy who's playing third, in theory, Jorge Polanco, had trouble throwing from second last year. And I don't know what that's going to look like as he plays third for the first time and is throwing from third. And, oh, by the way, he's still not full go. So
maybe that's why Perry Hill's got his cot out here and he sleeps out here.
You add J.P. Crawford into that mix with 3 errors. And, Dylan Moore will be great if he's playing second. But even Ryan Bliss, a little bit of a question mark.
Yep.
That feels like an issue, no?
Yeah, that outsaves a big deal. These pitchers that we love to sit down with, big deal. Those guys, when that ball gets put in play behind them, they've got to do their job on the other end of it. And for the last few years, they have been pretty sharp defensively, right? Obviously, JP is maybe slowing down just a little bit, but Ty France played a good first base, and Rojas was a great third base, and those guys saved some outs, especially Rojas at that hot corner.
JP's got to play good shortstop.
He does.
He really does.
Yes,
and
he does.
obviously, we talked about the bounce back and the hitting and this and that. But if he didn't play good shortstop, I don't think it's really going to matter. Bliss has a little speed. I mean, we know that, but you could see some of the speed, some of the niftiness, a little bit of pop. He's definitely a guy you just kind of have to keep watching.
Or did I not when he walked by? I made a little scene.
You did.
He's 8, 9, and 10. I know, got ruby red lips, and he walked by and didn't do anything. And as I kept going, then he turned around and gave me that big old smile.
When did he do it last year? Was it like in the?
Yeah, they did it for some
in
media
the
something. Yeah,
or something like that. Yeah. Well, he was ready for you.
Yep.
All right. Let's come back with everything you need to know. Let you guys hear that Julio double. John Schneider spoke in Indianapolis and spoke specifically about the future of one Geno Smith. You got to hear that all next before Dan Wilson joins us right after that. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
She's a 9, she's a 10. I know, got ruby red lips, blonde hair, blue eyes.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
We are now speaking with the architect of your Seattle Seahawks.
How we doing, football fans?
With Seahawks President of Football Operations and General Manager John Schneider.
My job is to do what's best for the Seattle Seahawks organization. I have to keep wrapping my mind around that and trying to communicate effectively.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What's the standard the Seahawks defense needs to be held to under Mike McDonald?
The John Schneider Show.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
All right, well, I think we've established that spring training is awesome, but one of the cool things, just seeing the physical impressiveness of these guys, pro athletes, when you're up close, and, look, they're coming off a long off season. They've got a lot to prove. Some of them are in peak physical condition, right, after working really hard for the last few months. Now, for the rest of us, we might not have all the resources, time, or energy to devote to that diet and exercise, but what if I told you that you, too, could be in some of the best shape of your life, just like these guys, and it would only take 45 days. It's all it takes after losing almost a pound a day with the help of Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. It worked for me. Lost 10 pounds in a week, 35 pounds after just 8 short weeks. Felt healthy, eating great, delicious, fresh meals that you buy at the grocery store. No pills, no injections. You don't even need to exercise. Find out if you could do it, too. A 15-minute call is all it takes. No obligation. Schedule it right now at eastsideweightlossklinic.com. You got nothing to lose other than a ton of weight. Go to eastsideweightlossklinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, Brock Ewart here from my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Take your game day experience to the next level with a Mariner Suite. Suites are perfect for birthdays, anniversaries, client meetings, and that company outing you've been trying to plan for months. Enjoy first-class catering, VIP parking, custom setups for 14 to 400 people, and more, all with the help of a dedicated Mariners rep. Suites start at $125 per person, and season ticket members get 15% off. Reserve now at Mariners.com/suites.
Munoz strikes out the side, and the ball game is over.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. With thousands of full replacements with expert craftsmanship and unbeatable warranties, we've been building roofs you can trust for over 5 decades. It's more than just a job, it's our promise to you. Protect your investment with a free Golden Pledge warranty on all GAF roof replacements over $15,000. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule a free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with available financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at ProSculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's ProSculpt.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, break up the Mariners' bats. My gosh, they are just destroying everything in their sight. Third straight double-digit run scored game for the Mariners offense. This time they drop 11 on the Dodgers. Brock, Mitch Garver went deep to right field. That was cool. And cut number 1, Julio Rodriguez going the other way as well.
The line next offer. Swing and a line drive into the gap in right center field. Down for extra bases. All the way to the wall on a hop. Heading for home is Williamson. Cole Young being waved around third by Chris. Here's the relay to the plate, not in time. Young scores standing up. And Julio Rodriguez into second base with a 2-out, 2-run double. The Mariners tack on 2 more and now lead the Dodgers 4-1. And that ball was a frozen rope into right field.
All right, well, so when you see Julio do that, you've got to think about what the strategy is, the Edgar conversations, keeping it up the middle, going to the big part of the park. We talked to Kevin Seitzer, new hitting coach yesterday, cut 3. He gave us the plan for Julio.
You know, it's just going to continue. My focus is continue to build off the path, the direction that Edgar put him on at the end of the season, because he finished really strong. He's been a swing guy, he's been a chase guy, but he's also been a damage guy. And so there's good and the bad. And what I found, all the young kids that came up, the Acuñas, Albies, Rileys, those guys, Michael Harris, that as they came through the system, they had their adjustment issues that they had to make to big league pitching. And when he came up crashing on the scene, all of a sudden pitchers start making adjustments. Sometimes hitters can try and make the wrong adjustments in order to be ready to hit what they're trying to do to you. And I feel like what Edgar did with him is really get him locked in on a consistent approach and plan to where he was staying in the middle of the field.
And that's a whole word with Julio, and we know that. It's just a level of consistency, you know, and consistency from the start. Aprils have not been kind over the last 3 years. Let's hope this one will be.
Yeah.
Here's the
second
thing you need to know.
Get through this quick.
I know, but I was swallowing right when you said that. George Kirby will make his start today. First start against the A's here in Peoria. Combine week in Indianapolis. John Schneider meeting with the media yesterday and did talk about Geno Smith and his future. Said he will be meeting with Geno's agents this week about an extension. Says Geno is their guy. Here he is talking about him. Cut 7. He asked whether or not he was asked if there was a deadline to get a deal done with Geno.
No, he's got another year. We expect him to be our guy, but we want to do what's right too.
Did you say he got another year?
He's got one more year.
Yeah, got another
expect
year.
him to be our guy.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Yeah, but we're going to start talking to his agents. We're friends. We've done good deals in the past. We've got a lot of equity between both sides for a lot of years. But he does have another year on that contract as well.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Kraken destroyed yesterday, Brock. They gave up seven goals. That's just not going to cut it.
Yeah, 6-0 when
Yeah,
I looked up.
7-0.
Yeah.
They scored 2 at the end. Had to pull the goalie. Just not pretty. We'll discuss more later. That's everything you need to know. And we do a quarter past every hour here in the Brock and Salk Show. I want to take a real quick break.
Real quick.
We'll come back with Dan Wilson. That'll give us a little extended time with the new skipper. Stick around. That's coming up next from Peoria. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
I'm at the gym. I be low-key at the gym. I be hat on, hoodied on, headphones in.
So no one recognizes you? Are you a celebrity?
No.
Stop. You got sunglasses on, too?
I just get in my zone and block everybody out. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But I couldn't block this out.
Okay.
One day, I'm looking at this guy, and he's wearing a Kobe jersey. So I'm really feeling him. I go, that's my guy right there. He doesn't even know. Then I walk in today, and my man has on a Larry Bird jersey. And I stopped my workout. I went over him. I go, hey, bro. Sir. I go, hey, you can't do that.
Streaming on your smart speaker.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here. As you know, I've had a couple injuries through the years. I had one on our first day here. Just a ball kind of finds my knee. That's just kind of the way it's worked for me in my life at times. But you don't have to play pro sports to know what I'm talking about. Painful joints. And I see a lot of it. I watch it with my dad. I was just spending a lot of time with him yesterday. And painful joints from arthritis and wear and tear can affect anyone and make it hard to do pretty much anything. Well, that is where my buddy, Dr. Daniel Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine, that's where he comes to play. He's seen so many patients suffering from chronic joint pain through the years. So don't let pain stop you from your quality of life. Consider Dr. Nelson the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine. Yes, many have jumped aboard lately, but this has been Dr. Nelson's business for over 30 years. And right now, well, he's got a lot of tools to work with, including stem cell therapy, a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells and platelet-rich plasma to harness your body's healing potential. Stop living in pain. Give my buddy a call at 425-823-4000, 425-823-4000, or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
Protein, protein, protein. Everyone is trying to get protein in their diet, but we need fats too. Healthy fat, that is, like the rich, natural peanut and almond butters found in G2G protein bars. Most bars don't have it because, well, most bars aren't real food or refrigerated. Fortunately for you, we aren't most bars. At G2G, you'll find a balanced helping of protein and healthy fat. The fact that they're delicious is just the bonus. They're fast, easy, and perfect for on-the-go families. G2G protein bars. Find them in the refrigerated section at Costco.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate Greg Nunn from Nunn Better Tax Resolution. So, Greg, not all tax resolution companies are the same. There are some that are definitely not local. There are others that don't quite know what they're doing even.
Well, I tell you, these ads that all of us hear, Fresh Start program, they make you feel like, hey, man, I can just easy peasy get my taxes written off. No. And I've had several clients actually come to me after going through that process, and they just get no response after a while. They're passed around from person to person. That doesn't happen at my firm.
You are familiar with the cases that come in. You're working on them.
I'm familiar with every case that comes into our office. And I know what's going on and have the ability to really advise our taxpayers very well on what to do.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, then call Greg Nunn. Nunn Better Tax Resolution, from stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. Nunn Better Tax Resolution.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Dave Wyman, and before you make that decision, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Why? Because he gives it to you straight. Dr. Wagner said my right knee needs replacement, and I appreciate his honesty and expertise. My left knee is fine right now, but the minute it isn't, I'm heading to Dr. Wagner for his expert opinion. I want to avoid another surgery, and I've heard so many patients rave about results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. He's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience and has performed more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy without pain and without surgery. Whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
Hey guys, did you know that half of men over age 50 have erectile dysfunction on some level? Whether you have mild, moderate, or severe ED, West Coast Men's Health can help. We don't prescribe pills and hope they work. Instead, we treat the root cause of the problem with acoustic wave therapy, which breaks down plaque, unclogs arteries, and restores blood flow. We have treated thousands of men across our 11 locations nationwide and have established ourselves as a leader in the industry. So whether you have ED, Peyronie's disease, or suffer from chronic pain, such as neuropathy, carpal tunnel, or Dupuytren's contracture, West Coast Men's Health can help. No pills, no shots, no surgery, just results.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, rolling along, Brock and Salk here on Seattle Sports on 710. Logan Gilbert will join us at 8:30. Bryce Miller at 9:30. Both those are already on tape, so I'm reasonably sure they're going to happen. Dan Wilson, the skipper of this group, with us right now. Good morning, sir.
Gentlemen, great to be here.
Thanks for showing up and sitting down with us. We appreciate it. I'll jump right into it because you've said something now a couple times, and Brock has always told me that when coaches or managers repeat themselves, that it's something you should pay attention to. And I've heard you say it, and then I heard Logan repeat it, and that is the word battle. You said 162 battles, maybe more, hopefully more after all is said and done. And it definitely piqued my interest. When you say 162 battles, what does that mean for you? Is that a strategy? Is that a mentality? What does that mean?
That's a good question. I think for me, really, it's about it's a mentality, and we talked about it a little bit last year. That when we get to 7 o'clock, it's time to go to war. It's time to battle, and having Lou Piniella as a manager, and a guy that at 7 o'clock wanted to win more than anybody in that stadium. You really got the impression that every day every game that you take the field is the most important game. It's the biggest game of the year that day. And, yesterday's day is gone. Can't do anything about that. Tomorrow has not come close. It sounds cliche, but we can get distracted often when we start thinking about some of the outside stuff that happens, the things that happened yesterday, worrying about tomorrow. But what's really important is taking the field, being 100%, being completely present for that game that night, and then when you get there, it's time to battle, it's time to fight, and our guys, to take that mentality into the batter's box, to take that mentality into the field on defense, to take that mentality on the bases, and to take that on the mound. All that is important. There are individual battles in a game, but overall, you want to win that team battle every night, and that to me is important.
So if that's the mentality, how does that affect the strategy as the manager? Because everything I've ever learned about this game says you got to play it over 162, and if you strategize to win every single battle, you're probably going to end up losing the war. So how do you balance those two things together?
Man, we're just throwing the metaphors around here.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
this is great. No, but you're right. I think there is a balance there at times, and I think as a manager, as a coaching staff, you do need to think long term at times as well, and that's where the balance comes in. That's where the trickiness of a long 162 game season comes in. But I don't think we can lose that mentality each and every night we go out there. That's how we have to take the field. Our guys did that so well towards the end of the year last year, and hopefully that's what we're going to continue to try to do, considering all the long-term effects, no doubt. But each time you take the field, you got to be ready to go to battle, and that's what the guys have done.
When the hay went in the barn, and you could actually take a little bit of a breath and reflect upon those 11 or so series you got to manage at the end of the year, what was your biggest takeaway?
I think. Having been through manager changes during a season, those are really difficult situations. There's a lot of emotion behind it. It's a group of guys, and a lot of us don't know what we're even feeling at the time, right? And the guys responded incredibly well. The staff responded incredibly well. We were still in it. We still fought. We still fought really, really hard. There were times where our guys could have cashed it in. We were getting late. We had a couple losing streaks of 2, 3, 4 games, but these guys just continued to come back time and time again. The resiliency was off the charts, and that's what was impressive to me. And this is it's a really strong group, and I'm really looking forward to getting a chance to start this season with them and continue it through, because it's a really fun group, and it's a group that's been together for a while, and I think that's a huge benefit. There's not a lot of down here in spring training, there's not a lot of, hey, nice to meet you, how's your family? Like, these guys know each other. We're starting from a different base, and we're going to get started on a good foot.
What is your approach to managing Julio Rodriguez?
I don't know if there is. This is an incredibly talented player. Probably one of the most talented players in the league, if not the most talented player in the league. And the way he continues to play, the way he continues to work down here, the sky is the limit for Julio. And giving him an opportunity just to show what he does on a daily basis. It's a privilege for a manager to write his name in the lineup. He's got all the tools, defensively runs the ball down as well as anyone, has power. We saw yesterday, I thought his at bat yesterday in the ball game, just hitting an absolute rocket to right center field. Anytime he puts the barrel to the ball, it's 110 plus off that barrel. And, getting him the consistency of doing that, wow, I think the sky's the limit for Julio.
So you said the consistency. That's been really the only question. We all know he's the most talented. He's amazing. But how do you get what you got in the last month of the season as opposed to some of the other months that just haven't been the same? How do you get that consistency out of Julio?
Well, I think first and foremost really is the approach. And I know that Gar has just continued to hit that. And the offensive guys, Kevin Seitzer, Bobby Magianis, that whole group has worked so well together. And, that continues to be the message, is just the idea of middle of the field. And again, getting back to that battling, kind of thought, mindset, battling with two strikes and putting the ball in play when you can. And I think we continue to see that. And with Julio yesterday, that idea of getting the ball into right center there, picking up a couple RBIs on the double, I think that is going to lead to a lot more consistency at the plate for all our guys, really. And that's the fun part of that kind of approach.
When did you know you wanted to do this?
That's a really good question. I don't know if you're ever prepared. I think, I would describe the end of the season last year as drinking from a fire hose. I think we've heard that phrase a lot. It is a lot, and I don't know. It's hard to anticipate what it's all about.
But while we saw you here over these 16 years, and many of the years we would see you here working with the catchers and all the work you did through the farm system, the work you did in the broadcast booth, was there a part, and I'm going to get into coaching this fall, which is going to be fun for me for the first time, certainly not a head coaching capacity, but I kind of know, like, all right, this is, I want to do this. Like, while you were in these different roles and capacity, in the back of your head, did you go, gosh darn it, one day I'd like to be Lou Piniella. One day I'd like to put that manager cap on somewhere.
I mean, I think it was something that you kind of always think about as a player and as a person that's been around the game for a while. You thought about it, not knowing whether that opportunity would ever come. Yeah. I think my wife and I talked about it and was like, yeah, if that opportunity ever came, it'd be something that would be really, interesting, and it would, let's do it.
Interesting.
And it's certainly, it came, kind of unexpectedly. But I think my hope is just to bring, what I can bring to this role. I think there's a lot of established relationships that have certainly helped, having been through the minor leagues with a lot of these guys and having prior relationships, as you mentioned, in spring training with some of the guys. That has really helped, and I can't say enough about the way these guys have responded, and I'm truly grateful for the opportunity, and I'm truly grateful for this group of guys, for sure.
Why is Jay Buhner not here as a bench coach? What am I missing?
Yeah. Jay was here earlier.
I know.
You guys missed him.
Can you imagine having Jay in there every day?
No.
I think I could. I think that'd be pretty interesting. How aggressive will your team be? I was one of we felt like the hallmarks last year, and Justin Hollander was on, and he kind of disagreed with me a little bit on how much old school approach to baseball we saw in the last few months last year, and whether there was a strategic shift or not. How aggressive will this team be? Will we see more bunting, small ball, hit and run, steal? Like, what does that look like from your perspective?
Yeah, good question. I think that, we talk a little bit before about the idea of long-term and short-term thinking. You have to have both. I think there is, I think we, as a general rule, will be aggressive as a team. I think, that's the way our team is built. We have some guys, especially towards the top of the lineup, that can really use their speed, can really put pressure on the defense. That's what we want to do. We want to make the other team, whether it's the pitcher or whether it's the defense, we want to make them earn it. They're gonna have to earn getting us out. And so, I think that's a huge part of our mindset, especially offensively. But at the same time, you can't just run into outs. You can't be stupid about it either, and so you have to balance it a little bit. But as a general rule, the guys that have that ability to run, to put pressure on the defense, I think that's what we're going to try to do, and I think that not only gets us 90 feet closer to home plate, which is what we want, it also affects the pitcher. It allows for more mistakes for our hitters, and that's when really a lot of damage can be done.
So what about giving up outs? Not running into them, but giving them up. I mean, over the last, let's call it 30 years, baseball's changed considerably, and those 27 outs became the one premium that everybody cared about, and they say, hey, let's play for the 3-4 run inning, crooked numbers, forget about just trying to get one, let's let these incredible hitters try to get 3 or 4 or 5. In T-Mobile, that's really hard to do. So will we see a concerted effort to bunt and play for 1 as opposed to trying to open it up and play for 3, 4, 5?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's contextual, obviously. But I do think that when you look at the number of games that we play that are close, we play so many one-run games. We have such a great pitching staff that keeps us in the game very late. A lot of our games are won in that 6, 7, 8, 9 inning range. anytime you can add a run on, I think is important. And whether it's the run that gets you the lead that's important, or that second or third run that allows you to use your bullpen a little bit differently, I think all those are equally important. And when we can add on, we're going to be looking to add on, whether it comes from a bunt, whether it comes from a stolen base. Contextual, hard to know, but I think the idea of adding runs, especially for this team, and especially when you look at how close this team has come over the last 3-4 years of getting to a postseason, that one run can really make the difference, in a season. So, we look forward to adding on when we can and getting those runs across the plate as much as possible.
I don't mean to hog this, but just one. I know I'm hogging the interview. Last thing on this subject.
Does this all the time.
Is any of that affected by just how freaking good pitching is now?
Yeah, I mean, I think you see it against us. I mean, our pitching staff is arguably the best in the league. When you look at the way teams try to approach it, they know they're in for a tough at bat. When they get on base, they are wanting to push the envelope because they know they're not going to get many opportunities to do it. So when you take that league wide, pitching is better. And when you look at what we do on offense, we know pitching is good. So runs are a premium, and we want to get as many guys to touch home plate as we can.
We know you got to get running here in a couple minutes. Logan shared with us earlier this morning that you had some pillars right away when it came to pitchers and catchers camp, and coming in here and kind of right away you kind of put your voice, and here's going to be some of the pillars of Mariners baseball under you and your staff's leadership. What are some of those?
I think we talked about several things, and the first thing on the list really was the idea of grace, and it's not a word you hear a lot, but I think with players in the game today, I think it's important that they understand that they're going to be supported by a coaching staff, through thick and thin, and I think especially when guys struggle, is when coaches are needed the most. And so extending grace to our guys as much as possible is really, really important. I think the flip side of that is truth, and that's another one too. You can't lie to players. You have to tell them the truth. They have to understand, the things they need to do to get better. There needs to be accountability involved. So, those are a couple of the pillars for sure. And preparation is another one. We want to prepare our guys down here. We want to prepare our guys for the 162 battles we're going to face. When we get to Seattle. And then the last thing is fun. You got to have a lot of fun in this game. And if you don't, this game will eat you alive. And it's a long season. So, those are some of the things we talked about. And that's what we as a staff, are going to bring our guys during the season and all throughout the whole year.
Did you want another? I took a lot of time. Would you like another question?
No, I want to honor his time.
I know. We got a couple minutes.
He's a skipper.
I'll ask about Randy Arozarena then, because I'm fascinated by Randy. He seems like an incredibly interesting character. He's loud on the field. He seems to be incredibly quiet off the field. What have you learned about Randy, and how will we get to feel him over the course of this season?
Yeah, Randy is tremendous talent, and when you look at the 2020 that he has had in his first 4 seasons as a player, I think the sky's the limit with Randy Arozarena, and what he can bring to this club is he brings a lot of life for sure on the field, like you mentioned. Give him a ton of credit. He put in a ton of work this offseason. And the way he has approached the things offensively that we've talked about has been outstanding. And watching his batting practice, watching the way he's approached his swing this year, just flat out awesome. I really am excited about where things are going with Randy, and defensively made a lot of strides there. That he can run it down. I think our outfield is as dynamic as it comes when you look at the 3 or 4 guys that we're going to be able to put out there. So, I think I'm really excited to see where his season goes this year. I know Edgar has worked a ton with him in the cage, and they have really connected, and looking forward to seeing the fruits of that labor.
Okay, last thing, and this just comes from observing a little bit and talking to folks around here, just like what's the difference in the feel of camp, right, after a bunch of years, and what's different this year? And a common refrain has just been the temperature may be turned down just a little bit. It isn't just meeting or run it. It's just the temperature's turned down, so maybe guys can connect a little bit more, right? We see some lounges and we see some more chairs. And was that an intentional move to just kind of try to build some more connective tissue.
I think again, there's a balance there.
Yeah.
There's a tension in there in that. But I do think it's important to come together as a team, no question. These guys, we mentioned, they know each other, which is a great thing. And the more we can use that to our advantage and bring people together, the better. And, I think one thing that as a staff we like to talk about is letting our guys go out at 7 o'clock with some freedom. The ability to just let it fly, trust the preparation that has gone into each night, and then go out and play. And you got to get out of your head when it's time to compete and when it's go time. And when we're able to do that, I think that's when we're at our best. And that's what we're hoping to accomplish as we get prepared for March 27th.
I don't know if you want to break news here or anything this morning, but a casual observer couldn't help but note that Logan Gilbert started, and then Luis Castillo started the next game, and then George Kirby today, Bryce Miller tomorrow. Is that your rotation heading into the season?
That's an astute observation, but we have not decided yet on an opening day starter. I know that's a big point of people wanting to try to figure it out. We've got a lot of questions that need to get answered yet. We've got 3 off days down here. We've got 4 split squads, so there's ways to juggle things up as we get a little bit closer. No decisions yet made at all on the opening day starter, but you guys will be the first to know. Among the first.
I'm sure it'll be us first. Yes, that makes perfect sense. Last thing, I'd just like to give you an opportunity to talk about some of the young guys that have made an impression. I know every time I watch Ben Williamson, I can't take my eyes off of what he's done defensively. I hear from the people out there in the observation world that he doesn't have a major league swing. I don't know what I'm missing, because it sure looks like a major league swing to me. Ben, Cole Young, Colt Emerson, what are you seeing? Laz Montez, what are you seeing with the young guys, and who could make a contribution this year?
Yeah, great question. You look at, you mentioned Ben Williamson. I think he was 112 off his bat yesterday too as well. He's been swinging the bat well, but you can't really single out just one guy. All these guys have played well. They've played without fear, which is tough. As a young player, getting your opportunity here in big league camp, a lot of times there's tentativeness. There's the mindset of not wanting to make a mistake. That's not how these guys play, and that's been awesome to see these guys go out there and be aggressive and do the things that they do that make them successful. You look at this organization. We have a lot of young position players that are poised and ready to make another step towards the big leagues. It's been fun to give these guys opportunities down here because they've done a lot with those opportunities. So we'll just continue to watch these guys develop. Cole Young is a guy that can really swing the bat and plays, a really nice second base. So he's a guy to watch, and Ben Williamson has made a splash here, especially early in camp. But there's guys behind them too, the Michael Arroyos, the Colt Emersons. I mean, these guys really are pushing each other, and that's what you want in an organization where you got the next wave of guys waiting to take their opportunities.
We know you got to run. Any one player you want to brag about? Somebody who worked their butt off this offseason that's impressed you here, that maybe we don't notice because we don't get to see all the intricate details. Any one player you just want to brag about?
You're going to think I'm going to be diplomatic about this, but I'm not going to mention one because all of them came into the camp very, very prepared. I think that's one of the things, and we've talked about it as a staff in there, that we've all been very impressed with. They came into this camp. They've put a lot of work into the offseason to a man. That's been really, really great to see. Sometimes you get to camp and there's a guy over here or 2 guys over here that didn't do the work. You can tell on day one. There has been, it's actually been the opposite, where we've gotten to camp and day one we're like, wow, these guys have really put in the work to be ready. That's an awesome feeling.
I kind of missed one, I'd say. I mean, Alvin Davis has managed 13 briskets on that smoker, 80 pounds. I think
80's brisket for sure is top of the camp. No doubt.
Skip, we appreciate it. Thanks so much for sitting down with us, and we'll look forward to chatting throughout the year and to watching this team take shape.
Awesome. Enjoy the sunshine, guys.
All right, there you go. There goes Dan Wilson. We will do a little Blue 88.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Ewert breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
a good handshake.
That's a man shake.
That's a good handshake, but not overly done.
No,
not like a certain ex-quarterback handshake that tries to break your hand.
Hugh Millen who tries to break your knuckles.
None of that.
No,
Wasn't certainly not a former mayor of Seattle wet, drippy, gross handshake. That's a good handshake.
Not a dead fish.
We'll talk a lot about what Dan had to say coming up.
I got a few thoughts.
I bet you do. I saw you taking notes over there with your Sharpie. Let's do a little Blue 88 first, Brock.
Braveheart freedom.
Who will be the early candidates to speak to Schneider at quarterback this weekend?
Do you want to try to find that cut in the sunshine on your screen?
I can't see anything.
Okay, don't worry about it.
Brady's ready with the cut.
Brady.
Brady's
Brady got that cut about speaking at the board. Might speak to John Schneider.
What is, I'm asking him, what's your long-term beyond 2025, 26 plan as a quarterback?
Well, hopefully the board talks to us, right? And maybe we draft a quarterback, right? Just hasn't gone that way.
Can I give you a couple guys to keep an eye on? So the quarterbacks will be one of the last position groups to work out. I'll hit on the whole schedule here in just a second with the combine and what to watch for. So the QBs will not be until this weekend, but keep an eye out. If there's just a couple guys, I'll give you three that the board may just kind of speak at the right time. Keep an eye on our Ohio State guy.
Okay.
Just as a quality dude, a play action, a better athlete than maybe you think. You know, Will is 6'3", 6'4", 225, and just a great, gritty dude. And if the board speaks in the mid-rounds, keep an eye on what he runs. And our buddy Jay Keeps has been training him for the last few weeks down in L.A., getting him ready for this combine. Keep an eye on a guy named Shuck.
You've mentioned him before.
Yeah, it looks like Shough, S-H-O-U-G-H, and it's actually pronounced Shuck. Started his career at Oregon. He was a 4-star. He's pretty. The dude has just been gritty. He's had to go a lot of places. Texas Tech. He ended with up there with Brian Brom in Louisville. Had a nice year. His tape, his body, his movement. When you talk about just the release, right? These swings or these arm angles and slot Salk, right? He's got a lot of those things. So keep an eye on that name and whether the board could speak. And then obviously, lastly, there's going to be a lot of work done on Jackson Dart. I think the staff and this organization will do kind of a lot of work to dig into him, as will a lot of other teams. Started at the Senior Bowl. I think he led the race at the end of the Senior Bowl as the most intriguing beyond Shedeur and Cam. Keep an eye on him and really watch him over the next month.
All right, question number 2. I know you love to talk about connective tissue, Brock. Is anyone ever going to connect like Pete Carroll?
Did you hear some of him at the podium yesterday? He was so good. And I know, I mean, he's always been good. He's always been a talker. And there's a lot of words, but there's not much word salad here. This was not a salad. This was an entree when Pete was genuinely asked what this offseason was like in Seattle, what Seattle means to him. This is just so good from Coach.
I never would have known, had I not been hanging around the area this year, how much of a connection we have made with the community and the people. And the fans and the people that I meet running through the airports and in the streets, wherever we're going, have been so gracious, and it's been such an obvious, had an obvious effect on me of how we did relate through the time we were together. And I'm really grateful for that. I'm really grateful for that. I didn't have the idea that there was that much of an exchange. Like I said, even in coming here too, to the Raiders, my job isn't just the team. To me, it extends beyond that. It extends to our fans. It extends to the people that support us and fill our stadium up and make it hard to play in because we're filling every seat and all of that. They're helping us win. So we're all in this thing together. And in taking that effort to Seattle, we're rewarded so extraordinarily because of the 12s.
So I don't know. This is a deeper discussion maybe than just Blue 88. But I truly don't know if there can be another football coach like Pete in Seattle. Because there was a wise guy. He was back in Boston on his sabbatical while I was doing radio here, and he said to me, there's nothing like the first. Enjoy that first mountaintop. Because the New England Patriots' first Super Bowl was different than the other 6. And the different titles that follow it were different. 14, they didn't win that championship that year, but even if they had, it wouldn't have been like the first. And as I say that, and Dan Wilson just leaves, if Dan Wilson, former player, he's up on this wall, right? He's one of the most memorable Mariners. If this guy takes them to win a World Series, like, he will have that same kind of connective tissue and that same kind of make your mark that maybe no one that will ever follow him will have, because there's nothing quite like the first one, planting the flag on the top of the mountain in the way that Pete did it, wanting to connect with all of you as fans and as players. Pretty darn unique.
All right, question number 3. So, schedule of events this week. Just take me through what we should be looking for in Indy and kind of how this thing gets going.
The first big impression is going to be all these D linemen. So that's tomorrow. They're meeting today, do some of all the physicals, but the first group is the D-line and linebackers. So they will actually measure and work out tomorrow with the kickers. They're the first ones. So you're going to hear, I promise you, the first big splash is all these 24, draftable starter defensive tackles, and they're going to get running and they're going to get jumping. The big kid out of A&M tomorrow is going to run 4.6 at 280 pounds. He's going to get compared to Myles Garrett, Shamar, whatever his name is, Stewart. So they will make the first impression. And the nice thing for us is we'll be home this weekend, and I'll be on my recliner, and I'll get to watch those linemen. So the D linemen start it, the O linemen bookend it, and they finish it on Sunday. And that's really some of the prime watching for you Seahawk fans out there.
All right, good stuff. That is today's Blue 88. Little football sprinkled throughout what has been obviously a gigantic baseball week, and we had our first chance to really sit down and chat with Dan.
I'm curious your takeaway with that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that.
I'm curious. I know what yours is. You've been on it, and I think for good reason. And you yelled the word a few minutes ago in your ode to Braveheart.
Yeah, Brady, if you could find
Wallace.
William Wallace screaming freedom and not me anymore, because people don't like it when I make a scene here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
Are we allowed to play stuff from Mel Gibson? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
He's just such a bad human being. I don't know.
He was just an actor in a movie.
I
It was just a
know,
word.
but he's hard for me, man.
Fine, I'll keep screaming it.
I'd rather you do it.
I'll lose my
I can
voice
play
there.
other stuff from that movie, and I love that movie, but
yeah,
Mel's tough for me, man.
No, I got a couple of thoughts, and his pillars resonated with me. It's a little deeper, Salk, and again, I don't know if this is for right here, right now, but something has hit you and me the last 3 days.
Yeah.
And it might just be the right place to talk about it because Dan leads into it.
Well, Shannon's going to step in, and we can bring her into that conversation
She'll
as
like it
well.
too.
I think so. So Shannon Drayer coming up. We'll talk a lot of baseball, react to Dan Wilson, Logan Gilbert at 8:30, Bryce Miller at 9:30, Cal Raleigh tomorrow, Julio I think tomorrow. Man, we got the rest of the week pretty well mapped out. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
There's a Twitter account, I guess, called Mile High Moments, and they found the video of Dave Wyman scoring a touchdown.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
Who needs Elway when you've got Maddox to Wyman?
My pregnant wife at the time, she missed the play because she was going to the bathroom. And I guess my mom went nuts, and my brother was embarrassed.
Is that the one you said you went crazy in the end zone, and you're like,
Yeah,
I didn't act like I've been there before or something?
They were like, yeah, act like you've been there, but I haven't.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I would rather get my teeth drilled than go to a car dealership. However, I recently had a breakdown with my vehicle, and I knew that I had to get a new one. I knew where to go. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. I'd heard amazing things. I knew the GM, Mark, so I ended up going out there. Mark, you're with me right now, and I got to be honest, even knowing you, I was nervous. Just being at a car dealership brings pressure, but you guys really focus on customer experience.
Well, there are some dealerships where you go in and you feel like you're getting jumped on. We don't do that, okay? There's absolutely no pressure at our dealership, period. And we backed it up with a 5-day or 500-mile, 100%, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. We only want to sell you a car if you want to buy one. So if you want a low-pressure experience, check out our reviews. We have thousands of 5-star reviews. You can buy with confidence. Wayscar Ford's been family-owned and operated in downtown Auburn for over 103 years. You don't stay in business that long by not taking care of people.
See it for yourself at Wayscar Ford in Auburn. That's wayscarford.com.
Discover LeBay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and a Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
I'm Chris Davis, former King County prosecutor and founder of the Davis Law Group in Seattle. If you've been injured in a crash caused by impaired or drunk drivers, there are special considerations that need to be taken to protect your legal rights. Davis Law Group's team of investigators and lawyers know how to properly investigate DUI crashes and identify all parties who might be legally responsible for your injuries and damages. Call Davis Law Group at 206-888-8888 or get my free book at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be-in-the-room with real people kind of learner, so he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Stream every Seattle sports show with the Seattle Sports app. Brought to you by Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get in the freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
We're going to accuse you of a minute.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
All right, we roll on here from Peoria, and we do bring in our third host here, Tucker. Tucker, the clubhouse dog.
Tucker, thanks for eating the chomp that Maura didn't want that I brought for her.
Who's planted himself right between us. I know, he's such a good boy, and he's drooling.
You already know Salk makes fun of me for eating one of those every day, so
Step
I brought
into a
some
Slim
on
Jim
my
with
own.
Maura.
Salk offered me a chomp, and I already had one, and now I'm sorry, Brock, and now he's mad at me.
I know, it happens. Brock is he's very easily
not happy with that.
very
His
easily
ears just
offended.
really went bad.
I
What's
know.
that?
Tucker was not happy with that. His ears are really bad.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a first in our.
He's just kind of hanging out
in our years.
This is different.
Is this because Shannon's with us?
I don't know. It's hard to say. He was over here before Shannon, though, so I don't know. I'm not sure. Shannon, good morning.
Good morning.
We just talked to Dan, and that was interesting, I think. Brock definitely had some takeaways. I saw him scribbling furiously in his notepad there.
We had a great guest. Salk gives great guests. He loves to tell everybody that. We had a great guest on Monday, and she sat at the table, and she said one of the biggest differences she's felt in this camp, and this only comes with decades of experience, right, of doing this and having the intuition and the instincts that Shannon has. She said the temperature just turned down a little bit, just a little more freedom, a little more connective tissue, a little more time for the guys. And connective tissue is my words, not yours. But you did say freedom, and you talked about just giving these guys a little more room. And it was pretty interesting to hear Dan echo a lot of that thought, the intentionality behind some of that.
And there is intentionality. It's not just kind of let everybody run loose and see ball, hit ball, and all of that. But there is a mindset that you can work to get people into, and some of that is in loosening up on, I think you've now noticed, there are not as many meetings early in the morning. You're not seeing as many reports or hearing about as many reports, but you are hearing more of what the result is rather than what the process was. And so I think that does in many ways simplify things. And talking to guys, they talk about in the cages and the kind of the hitting messaging is hit the ball hard up the middle. You know, there's not, this count, that count, and it doesn't mean those things won't happen. You are going to be smart about it and use what you have, but, first things first.
But the paralysis by overanalysis. And I know it's so easy after the fact to hold on to these things or label them in this way, but I think when they moved on from Brandt, that was a pretty clear message. It was just to overload.
Yeah,
I
think they got to a point where they thought they were ready for that, and that has worked. It's not like Brown came out of nowhere. That has worked. It didn't work for this group. And it was kind of a more advanced, and it was adding some layers to what they were doing. And I think that, that was kind of a point where a lot of the hitters looked at it and said that this is too much, or found that this was too much. And, why not start to go in the other direction and see how that plays? As far as the analysis goes, I don't think there's any such thing as too much on the pitching side. That's been incredibly effective for this organization. On the hitting side, it didn't take as well. And it seems to me there has been an adjustment. Now, that doesn't mean that all the numbers aren't still there, that they're not still looking at the same thing and hoping for the same thing, but I think it's how it's being presented to the team is different.
We also talked about aggressiveness and what that looks like, and Dan did say it's going to be a different type of aggressiveness.
Kind of like the way he said it, though, Salk, and I think there was some, it's just kind of presented in a way that maybe has been said before, but I didn't hear it as well, and that was, we'll be aggressive in the 6, 7, 8, 9. Like, when it's time to be aggressive, we'll be aggressive. And also, look at the way teams attack us with our great pitching. What do? They get on the bases, and they try to pressurize and speed us up. And because they know you're not going to be on the bases very much. And if you play in T-Mobile in April and May, you better maximize your opportunities when you get people on base.
And I'm going to say that those things, those messages, we've heard those every camp. And it very well may be it's just a tough thing to do once the season, the lights come on, the numbers count, and everything else. Unless you are going to tell players to go up there, I want you stealing on this count, I want you going, I want you bunting, I want you doing this. And I don't think they're going to do that. So I do think it is still a big job to get guys into that because, we saw the drills. We saw them do it in spring training. We saw a lot more stolen bases. We saw things that we don't see during the year because that's the time to try it out. Will it translate? And I do think you do have some better personnel. I think having Victor Robles in there, he is somebody that gets that going, that has that spark, that is just different and has that impact.
Maura said this, and she is very perceptive of her, that Kevin Seitzer, when he got the job, went back and watched the last month, and then he also went back, that was first, and then he went back to earlier in the season. And he said some of the contrast he saw was the word apprehension. That early in the year, in between, apprehension, whatever it is, and you talk to him, and there's no fear. You talk to Dan, we got to make sure these guys have a freedom to play with no fear.
Right. And that's where that apprehension comes from. That's when you're looking, that's probably a result of the overload.
Yes.
What am I supposed to do right now?
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm hogging the interview.
No, yeah, great.
Hi, Mike.
I'm enjoying listening to you guys. To be perfectly honest, since I hogged a bunch of the questions with Dan, I'm more than willing to share. Shannon, that's great.
Is there anything any different than Monday? Because every day you learn a little something, you see a little something, you experience a little something. Is there anything that's caught your eye over just this week? Young guys, something, little chatter around the clubhouse.
Well, I think probably the thing that I've seen that is the best is I've seen Polo or Polanco really start to ramp up what he is doing right now, and I think that that's important.
Live at bats yesterday, you said?
He had the live at bats, which was great, and I think even better is we saw him on the Perry Hill wall, which he hadn't been cleared to do earlier in camp, and now he is. So, in talking to people, they don't think it's going to take too long to get him up to speed on third base. He's played the infield. The challenges will be the ball right in front of him. The angles are different coming in on the ball, but with constant work with Perry Hill, they think that there is.
You taller than Solano? Have you gone back to back with Solano?
Taller than I thought he was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is he taller than Divish?
What did you think he was? 5'2"?
Is he taller than Divish?
He's a tall. Yes.
He's taller than Divish.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, he is. He definitely is.
Oh, really?
He definitely is. I'll say this: he was over at first base in the early infield yesterday, and he was there with Rayleigh. Rayleigh and Tellez. And he didn't look ridiculously out of place over there between two absolute giants. And he looked actually very athletic around the bag, which I thought was good.
He's got to bring that.
And that's what he said himself.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't go up very far, but I can range, I can stretch, I have the flexibility, I have the footwork. And he feels confident over there, although he has not been at first base for a long time. It's only been since 22.
Yeah, it is. That third base thing is going to be interesting to me. I mean, look, I'm not going to read too much into the fact that J.P. Crawford's made 3 errors in 2 games, but J.P. Crawford's made 3 errors in 2 games.
Right.
That's not an error. They weren't pop-ups in the Arizona sun. They were ground balls and throws. That's a little bit of a, something I'm just got a little watch on. And then you're going to put a guy at third base who had trouble making the throw from second base last year. And then your first baseman is either going to be a converted outfielder or a guy who is a lot shorter than the traditional first baseman.
Right.
You put those 4 things together.
Ooh, you're testing the bone.
You're putting a lot of strain.
Good thing he had those yoga classes and got his
lot of strain.
inner zen.
What is your level of concern about the infield defense?
It's there, but you know what? Last year I had concern about the defense overall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it wasn't great.
No, it wasn't a problem. They were, as a defensive team, they were much better than I thought they would be heading into the season. And I think that, I'm hoping that, the outfield defense is going to be better than
outfield defense a lot better than what we saw. I mean, you're not starting Mitch Haniger in right field.
And I'm going to give him the spring, and we'll see what happens. But Perry wants them. The ask is make the plays you're supposed to make, and as long as they make the plays they're supposed to make, they do very good things with positioning. And you don't want to give anything up with the margin of error that you have. But last year, it was kind of shocking how much better it was than I thought it would be.
You buying the Mitch Garver resurgence?
I'm going to dig into that one a little bit more. But I do like what I've seen from him.
It's a strange question.
Early on. And you know what? If you think about where he's at, last season coming into this camp, he was out catching bullpens, not thinking he was going to be catching. Mm-hmm. He was doing it hoping he would be catching. He was thinking he was going to be a DH. I think there was so much uncertainty coming in for him that certainly didn't help.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an excuse for last year, but going into the offseason this year, okay, I'm a catcher again. I know I'm going to be catching. I know I'm going to be doing this. I have a feeling that's helped him in his preparation and will help overall.
Luke Rayleigh have his baby yet?
I know that I know that they went into the hospital like early morning yesterday.
You don't get excited about this stuff.
I know you
Let
do.
me know when you know.
Yeah, please.
Right.
Please keep Brock updated.
But you're not calling Luke on the hour right now asking?
Please keep Brock updated on the status of Luke Rayleigh's baby. That's an important feature of our time down here. Shannon, thank you. And I understand that a lemon cheesecake has been baked.
Oh, it's in process.
It's in process.
Lemons from the backyard?
It smells so good.
Yeah. Well, we're not. We think they're we've decided.
Meyer lemons?
So Brock went and helped pick some of the lemons back there, but we're trying to figure it out because so I opened one up. You peel it and it's almost more like an orange, and then it's in segments like an orange. But then we tasted it and it's very tart like a lemon.
Interesting.
So I looked it up. Maybe it's a Meyer
lemon.
tree?
Okay.
Meyer lemons are
Or is
great.
there
Well,
something
Salk's
called,
making the
there's
spiked
something
lemonade
called a
tomorrow night
lamandarin?
with those.
A
Guys,
making that
I
up.
am not making jack squat.
You are making the
I am
spiked
showing
lemonade
up, I'm
tomorrow night.
eating, and then I'm heading
No,
home.
you're not.
Shannon, thank you. We will chat again tomorrow, of course. We'll come right back with everything you need to know. Logan Gilbert at 8:30, Bryce Miller at 9:30. We roll on from spring training. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com.
Seattle Sports is in Arizona for spring training baseball.
Our goal really is to come out of spring training and to play that consistent brand of baseball from beginning to end.
Go behind the scenes with Brock and Salk as the Seattle Mariners get ready for the 2025 season. All this week from 6 to 10.
What a masterful performance by the big right-hander Logan Gilbert.
And hear every pitch of spring training baseball on Seattle Sports. Streaming on the Seattle Sports app.
Holy smokes.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and I know luxury is awaiting at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Comfort meets elegance. This summer, you can experience all it has to offer, including the new hotel, which is opening up with Deluxe King and 2 queen beds, Premium King and 2 queens, Grand Suite, Signature Suites, all with the great views of the Cascades and the Snoqualmie Valley. The new destination spa and the big entertainment space and convention center, all with effortless style and utmost relaxation. And there's a whole bunch of new restaurants as well. It's pretty cool. Make sure you find your way to snocasino.com. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
The nonprofit Puget Sound Senior Baseball League plays real baseball on the best fields. The season's first tryout for adults ages 18 to 65 and older is this Sunday, March 2nd at Hogan Park at Russell Road in Kent. With 10 divisions featuring different age and skill levels, there's room for almost every ball player, from ex-Little Leaguers to high school and even former college and pros. Get all the info at pssbl.com. That's pssbl.com.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. And that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
No matter how old you get, you always remember that one great teacher.
Hi, this is Rick Riz, inviting you to join WSECU in celebrating Teacher of the Week. Great teachers inspire. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. This year, we're going to honor 24 great teachers with grants of $500, courtesy of WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Teachers are the real MVPs. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
It's time to go all in at Toyota of Kirkland. All in on the largest savings opportunities on the largest inventory of Tacomas, Tundras, Prius, and the BZ4X. The incredible team at Toyota of Kirkland is all in on your car buying experience. They'll set you up with a test drive and you can take that car home on the same day. Come on down to Toyota of Kirkland and get all in on the best deals with the best inventory. Check out their wonderful showroom today or go all in online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
O'Brien. Swedish Cyberknife has been serving the Pacific Northwest with innovative and compassionate care since 2006. Being able to precisely and accurately deliver radiation makes a difference in terms of controlling cancer and reducing the risk of side effects. The treatment is completed in only 5 sessions, lasting less than an hour. Patient surveys consistently give Swedish Cyberknife the highest of rankings. Swedish.org/Cyberknife Prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Yeah, Brock, I don't know what to say about this, but the Mariners keep hitting, and the people are shocked out there. They scored double-digit runs for the 3rd straight game. They dropped 11 on the Dodgers. It was Julio with a big double. It was Ryan Bliss running around. It was Ben Williamson once again. It was Randy Arozarena. It was Harry Ford. And, yes, it was this guy, Mitch Garver, with a huge opposite field long ball.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch to him. Swung on, lifted, right field. This is hit well. Back is Rosario. He's twisting around. He's on the track. He's looking up, and this is gone. It's onto the berm. Mitch Garver rides one out the other way. A solo home run. And the Mariners add on to the lead. It's 5-1 Mariners.
You know what some call that, Salk?
An Oppo taco?
An Oppo taco. Capo taco.
A capo caco?
Yes. So what some people call it.
Some people do.
Uh-huh.
It's good to see. I mean, again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that watching a veteran hitter hit a home run off a minor league pitcher is going to change my view of anything.
Yep.
But I like seeing him go the other way. I like seeing him have 3 hits in 2 games, dump a couple singles the other day with a shortened swing. And when we talk X factors, isn't Mitch Garver on the list of guys where if he improves and just returns to who he was before last year, that's a complete difference maker for this lineup.
You know, remember, last year was the outliner. Last year he had a $174.
Yeah.
I mean, just not even a Mendoza. It was well below that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was largely a non-factor. And to get contribution from him, you're paying him to contribute. You'd sure love to see it.
Luis Castillo was pretty good yesterday. Sat at 94, and, velocity's going to be a little question mark for him. His velo has dropped each of the last couple of seasons. So starting off at 94 in the first game of the spring was a good thing. He was the victim of some tough defense, which happens, of course, in a Cactus League start. George Kirby going to go today. We have barely mentioned George Kirby's name.
Who?
Exactly. George Kirby has been kind of the quiet, forgotten member of this staff, but he will get going today against the A's here in Peoria.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
We didn't spend as much time on this last hour, so I want to make sure we do give ourselves a few minutes here to talk about John Schneider and his comments yesterday, because it's big news. He says he's going to meet with Gino's agents this week about an extension, and then said, Gino's our guy. Gino's our guy.
Yep.
What do you hear?
Yeah, I don't hear what I heard a couple years ago with Russell at the Combine. I don't hear any funny business. I think Gino is sensitive. I think G. Scott's alluded to that with us a time or two, and he hears everything, and he is a sub-tweeter, and, just did so again this week, and he wants to know he's loved, and he's got a lot of old scar tissue, Salk. That's the reality. right? His journey was one marked with a lot of disappointment and a lot of valleys, and now that he's climbed to become, as Kurt Warner said, a really good starting NFL quarterback, that should be the starting point for negotiations, a really good starting quarterback. And what the value of that is, and make it make sense between the two sides, and go get that thing done.
Wasn't just that. John also spoke about meetings with Ernest Jones, said they will meet soon with Tyler Lockett's agent. Here he is in Cut 8, asked how things are going with the middle linebacker.
The importance of Mike, he coached the position, but I mean the importance of it hasn't changed ever since I've been doing this. So how the negotiations going was the first part. We've had positive talks with his group ever since we traded for him, and we'll continue that this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think that number is easier to figure out than
you
the
would think so,
quarterback.
right?
Floor's kind of 8, ceiling's 14. Find something in between, and and once again, you got a salary cap that's grown, you got ownership that spends, and got cash. And obviously, they got to put it in the right spots. And O-line is still a premium of premiums. But I would think these are, with these two guys in particular, Gino and Ernest, guys that want to be here. Guys that understand who they are, what they are, can, with their agents, be reasonable, and reasonable people typically get deals done.
The one other announcement yesterday, Jason Peters, longtime lineman, obviously. Is he a Hall of Famer?
Ooh, good question.
Borderline. Probably not a first ballot type of guy, but there'll be a conversation.
21 years.
It's a long time in the NFL. He retired. He will stay with the team, though, in a veteran mentor type of role.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
So much for momentum, man. The Kraken had it. You come out of the break. You beat a really good Florida team. You score a couple goals. Then you lose in Tampa. And then last night you just get your doors shellacked in St. Louis.
St. Louis isn't even that good, are they? They're middle of the pack.
You don't want to lose 7-2 to anybody.
Or as Bob Wischusen would like to say, I'm middle of the rack.
I don't care how good they are.
I'm a New Jersey middle of the rack guy.
Don't lose 7-2. They gave up 7 straight to start the game. The first 5 on Decord, he got pulled. They went to a new goalie, Brock, because the one game for Alistechka was enough. They brought in Nicholas Kokko, not to be confused with Capo Kakko, totally different people. Yep. And he gave up 2 goals on 6 shots. So just a rough night for your Kraken.
Can I throw in 3 more quick need-to-knows?
Yeah.
Did you see Diana Taurasi retiring?
I saw that.
Yeah, after a lot of years, 42 years of age, 6 gold medals. That'll never be done in the history of the sport again. My Huskies, my beloved Husky men's basketball, they fall to last place in the Big Ten. They're not going to even make the Big Ten tournament. And how about a shout-out to Bill Kruger's Portland Pilots? They had a pitcher by the name of Ryan Rembes throw the first perfect game in the history of Portland baseball.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Do you know how hard that is to do in college?
Very hard.
27 up, 27 down, 12
cool.
strikeouts, first perfecto
cool.
down there on the Bluffs.
All right, and a big game tonight?
Big game for the Pokes tonight. Last home game, Cincinnati comes to town. Let's hope number 22. Let's see, the bottom of the net a few times on some threes tonight.
Let's see. Threes. That's everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. All right, coming up at 9:30, we will have Bryce Miller, who we taped with yesterday. And he's just such a laid-back,
God, he looks just like Alan Jackson.
Casual dude.
You looked at his stash?
If I knew who Alan Jackson was, I totally
Way down yonder on the Chattahoochee, it gets hotter than a hoochie coo. We laid rubber on the Georgia asphalt. Got a little crazy, but we never got caught.
You do?
Down by the river on a Friday night.
How would I have come
I'm
across
pretty sure
it?
that Brock just saying some wrong words again, even though this is his wheelhouse.
Maybe.
How would I, where would I have come across him? Where would you, if you don't like country music, where did you?
Anywhere.
I mean,
everywhere.
he's a pretty big country artist. Like sometimes you see ads still, or he's probably
George
done songs
Strait,
in commercials.
Alan
I
Jackson,
see a cowboy hat, I
Garth
just move on.
Brooks.
As soon as I see a cowboy hat, I realize it's something that's not
Bryce
for me.
Miller does look a lot like
I just kind of move right on. All right, well, Bryce Miller's coming up at 9:30. Before we get there, though, the guy who right now, anyway, sure looks like he's on pace to start opening day, and he's one of the best interviews you'll find down here. Stick around to hear from Logan Gilbert. You'll hear about his family and a great story about his dad. You'll hear about his pitches. You'll hear about his arm angle and how that's changed over the last few years. And you'll hear how he gets himself amped. How does he get into Walter mode? Stick around. It's next on Brock and Salk.
Fourth down territory. Going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
What part of football has changed, and do you like it?
2-point conversions. Like, we are chasing points. The game has changed. 2-point conversions and fourth downs. So we're seeing coaches dive into the data like a lot of people do with baseball. And I like it, and it is weird at the same time because I'm not used to seeing these fourth down conversions or attempts and these 2-point conversions.
Fourth down territory. Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Well, there's a million great things about being down here at spring training, and it's just my favorite week of the year. And it's pretty cool being close to the physical impressiveness of all of these guys. I mean, they've been working their butts off all off season. They come in great physical shape. Well, guess what? You can too. I know that us regular folks, we don't have all of the time, all the resources to devote to our diet and exercise like a pro athlete does. But you could be in the best shape of your life, and it might not take any more than 45 days. You could lose essentially a pound a day with the help of Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. And I can tell you from experience, because it worked for me. I lost 10 pounds in a week, 35 pounds after just 8 short weeks. Felt healthy, eating delicious, fresh, real meals you buy at the grocery store with no pills, no injections. Don't even really need to exercise. Find out how you can do it as well. A 15-minute call is all it takes. No obligation. Schedule it right now at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. What do you have to lose other than, a ton of weight? Go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile brand. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Does your yard need shade, privacy, or a little brightening up? Look no further than Big Trees. I'm Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. At our 30-acre location, there are thousands of trees to choose from and knowledgeable staff, including a board-certified master arborist, to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Visit the nursery and learn more about Big Trees at BigTreeSupply.com.
Seattle Sports is in Arizona for spring training baseball. Go behind the scenes with Brock and Salk all this week from 6 to 10
on Seattle Sports.
There she is, founder and CEO. High five.
Yeah. Dave can't stop celebrating with every business owner in town.
All right, Baker Man, high five.
He's sharing the excitement of big savings with the Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee.
Woo, up top, bike shop. Yeah.
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
Quick, high five.
5 years of advanced security.
5 years.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Yeah, law partners. Chamberlain, Messelthorpe, Dubois.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability. Switch today and get the 5-year price lock guarantee.
5 years.
It's back, but only for a limited time.
Woo.
Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
Can't forget you, voiceover guy.
Ah, thanks, Dave.
High five!
Ends 3/9/25. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
I've always said, the car sales in the 1980s and 1990s, earned the rep that we have today. The concerns that consumers have because of what has happened in our industry in the past, they're warranted. It's our job to show them that that's not how business is done anymore, right? It's very different business. It's much more transparent. There's much more information that's available to people, and we're much more customer focused than I think the car industry was, 20, 30 years ago. I'm more focused on providing good customer service and relationships, because I think if you take care of people, money will always come. So I think just the philosophy and the focus for us has changed, where I was constantly chasing a paycheck, and now I'm just constantly trying to take care of customers and employees, because I know if I do that, then my paycheck will take care of itself.
The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, rolling along here, Mariners spring training, Brock and Salk Seattle Sports on 710. And I think one of, I've said this a couple of times.
A tradition like none other.
I don't know if it's quite that, but it's been one of our favorite parts of spring training each year is our annual sit-down with Logan Gilbert, who I think is one of the best interviews on this team. I don't know whether you ever thought that would be the case, but that has become true over the years. How are you, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me. I never really thought about it that way.
Was that a goal of yours to really become a great interview?
I didn't know it was till you just said it, so I guess so.
Great radio interview.
Is that a weird part of kind of growing into being a big leaguer, is sort of learning how to do media and not just, meeting with the press every day, meeting with idiots like us who come down to talk to you for an extended period of time? How did you go about learning to do that?
Yeah, the first year is kind of weird. And coming from a mid-major college, I didn't have a ton of experience, too. I feel like guys nowadays and SEC, ACC get a little bit of it. But you kind of learn on the fly, and first year is weird. You mess up more than you want to, but eventually you get used to it.
Someone give you advice along the way?
They do a pretty good job here, actually, the media team, and kind of tell us some things that obviously you should not say, but it's better to say it before somebody actually says it on the air. And you listen to people over the years and just, get used to it.
Just kind of more comfortable in your own skin.
They have an actual book of cliches, or do you have to make those up yourself, or is there something you can look at?
You just hear them from other people, write them down, and be sure to use them.
Take it one game at a time.
Tim Heavily passes out note cards.
Yeah,
they
good.
study all the note cards.
Exactly.
Hey, anything new this time around?
Nothing crazy. Pretty similar. Same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Same stuff. Nothing
same
crazy.
Training, same routine, same kind of
all the weird
process.
stuff. Yeah, you'll see the same gadgets and all that kind of stuff.
Nothing new added to it.
Pretty similar to last year. I felt like I came into spring in a good spot and timed it up. A lot of it nowadays is trying to be ready for opening weekend and working your way backwards from there, and I think I did a good job last year, so more or less pretty similar to how it was.
Opening weekend.
Yeah, opening weekend.
So that's pretty open-ended about what day it could be on opening weekend. Could be Thursday, could be Friday.
I was sure to say that.
We won't dig too deeply into that because that's out of your hands, right? I mean, you're not going to decide who starts when, but I would assume that's still a goal, right, to be an opening day starter?
Definitely a big goal. I mean, eventually, hopefully my career, I get to that point. I don't know when it'll be, if it's this year or years down the road. I just want the ball at some point. If I get it in the first 5 days, I'm fine because we have 5 number 1 starters, it feels like. Anybody could be opening day, so we'll be all right either way.
If it were to happen, total hypothetical, what would that mean to you at this stage of your career?
It's huge just because, all the other guys on our team are very deserving, so just being in category with those guys is it means a lot. But trust coming from the organization too, and them saying that whoever's 1 or 2 or whatever it is, like, we trust you, we want you to have the ball, and we feel good with our chances that if you have it, we're going to win the game. That says a lot.
Is that a delicate balance with a veteran guy like Luis? Is that something that you and Luis would even ever talk about?
Luis He's honestly one of the best people I've ever met in baseball. So it's hard to step on his toes, and I've probably done things that I should have just accidentally. But he laughs at everything. He's given me so much good advice over the years. Has one of the best presence about him for baseball, whether it's huge playoff start or just random day. Just an awesome guy. So, no, we haven't talked about anything like that, but he's so laid back.
Give me 2 or 3 things. If as you say there, like he's done so many things. He said so many things. He's been such a great teammate. You have an anecdote or two that really jump out in that regard?
A couple of things, yeah. So the first thing that comes to my mind last year, he bought me that watch for the All-Star game, which says a lot, and just left it in my locker, didn't say a word. It wasn't in front of everybody. He went out on the field, started his warm-up and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't like he didn't even want to know it was him. He just put it in my locker because he thought he wanted to do something nice. So it wasn't about him, anything like that. The other thing, one midweek bullpen, I was just kind of overthinking everything, as I do sometimes.
Say no.
He's right there.
Right.
He is the opposite, just, Mr. Cool, laid back. So he's watching me and all this stuff. Doesn't say a word till afterwards, and he could tell I'm still thinking about it. And it's so simple and so laid back, but he told me, don't change anything, don't think about anything, and don't try so hard. And those 3 things, I still hold on to him. He probably doesn't even know he said them to me, but he embodies that so well and gave me that, and I still hold on to it.
It's funny. Some guys, when you're, on the outside as we are, it's really hard to get a sense as to who they are inside the clubhouse and around their teammates. Nothing you just said about Luis Castillo surprises me one bit. Just from what the little we get to see, and again, he's not even giving interviews in English, so we get a very small view. That's the exact presence that he exudes just walking around here. That's pretty interesting that he's able to do that.
Yeah, and I would say he's the same every single day, too. It's what you think he is, but it's also there's no off days really with him. It's what you see is what you get, and he's going to be that way all the time. That's what you want from a leader in the clubhouse.
So if he's that leader and that great guy in the rotation, Bryce is obviously on the other side of that. Sorry.
Hey, you talked to him yesterday, so you're the one that said it. I would tell him the same thing.
He fools you, though.
He does.
He got that little fox. Like, he tries to play that Alan Jackson, Texarkana, and he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, he does. I actually played Alan Jackson yesterday, and I was like, you kind of look like this guy. And he's like, somebody else told me that today. He said, I think it was you guys.
Yeah, it was.
But he knows all the numbers. He knows everything.
He didn't know who we are or remembered who we were, but he knew that.
I really thought he and I had a connection. Dang it.
Next year, for sure.
Yeah.
That goofy Macaulay Culkin with Down syndrome guy out there.
Right.
I thought
Stop that.
What?
I know.
All right, whatever.
Tell me about pitching angry. We talked to Cal. Actually, that interview is not going to air till tomorrow, but we talked to Cal, and he was kind of going through what he likes to say to each pitcher and who he needs to pump up, who he needs to calm down, just sort of the way he manages you guys during a game. And he mentioned that you pitch angry, and we've talked about it before, the whole Walter. Personality. How does that work? How do you pitch angry?
So I think you got to know yourself really well and know what gets you to perform really well. And for me, it's like I have to turn it on before the inning. I don't want to get hit first or, get punched first before you lock it in and you're like, oh, wait, we're playing a game here. They got 2 guys on or whatever. So for me, if I go out there 200 different times, 200 innings over a year, every single start of the inning, I have to turn it back on. And between innings, I try to really calm myself, my breath work, calm my heart rate, but then when it's go time, you have to get back in that. Cal sees it really well, and he knows all the different personalities. He's not going to just overdo it, but when he sees that you need something, he's not afraid to challenge you or get you in gear.
What do you do, though? I mean, do you have to, think about something that makes you mad? Do you have to...
You put Anthrax on?
Yeah,
and
is there
AirPods,
music?
or
what do you do to get into that zone?
Gosh, I wish I could explain it well, but I probably won't. It's kind of a feel thing for me. It's not like I have an actual cue or anything like that, but a lot of the times when it's the third out or you see guys running off or whatever, your body naturally starts to spike because it's like adrenaline's filling you, all that kind of stuff. I have a couple of things, but I'll keep them close to the chest.
But are they understand? Are they things of slights from your past, people you don't love? I mean, is it that type of stuff?
Oh, not really.
Okay.
Not like something on Twitter somebody said I'm terrible. That's it. I'm going to prove them wrong. No, it's nothing that exact or specific. It's just I'm not waiting to get hit first, that type of thing.
I was on with our show after us. Bump and Stacy do such a great job, and I think it was Stacy asked me, what do you see as far as leadership around the building, and where's that leadership grown? And gosh, I just can't get past Cal. Every time we sit with him, and that position naturally does it, right? It's a little bit like a quarterback. Quarterback looks at everybody. That catcher looks at all of you. You have all your meetings with him. You work so closely with him. How would you characterize Cal's leadership from your perspective?
Yeah, it's great. And I think everybody's starting to see that for sure. It's fun to watch how he's grown over the years. If you think back 3 years ago or whatever, it's like a completely different story for him, for me, everybody. But I think he knows himself really well and kind of established himself in that role where guys trust him. It's not like he's some outsider trying to chirp in and people don't trust him. He's just got banged up enough and proven himself out there. He's not sitting out games, anything like that. People know on the inside what he has played through. That gets a lot of respect from the other people around him. And then he knows the game so well. He's not making stuff up on the fly. When he says something, there's meaning behind it.
Sure seems like when he does play hurt, he doesn't talk about it a lot either. He's not Ben Roethlisberger, let everybody know, hey, man, everybody look at my thumb. I got a big bandage. I mean, it seems like he just does it.
Yeah, for sure. Half the time I don't even know about it till afterwards, and I probably didn't contribute in a helpful way with some of those dirt balls. But, he doesn't like people to know. He's really one of those old school catcher type of guys that you don't see a ton in the game anymore, but I have a big respect for it.
He told me something off the air, and I don't think he would mind me repeating it because I asked him what advice he would have for a young catcher. I have a friend whose kid is 11, 12 years old and catching. I said, what kind of advice would you give? And he didn't say anything about blocking balls or throwing or eating or working out or any of that. He just said, bring energy. That you got to love to be a catcher, and you got to bring that energy every day. And it's interesting because Cal's not exactly, he's not Victor Robles jumping over hurdles here. And how does he bring energy?
Well, yeah, you nailed it. I think it's the way he's invested every day because every starting pitcher, every meeting, he treats it like it's his start day. When it's not my start day, he's still doing his thing, but I don't even think about it. I just think of me and him on my start day. He's there every time. And that's the only day of the week that I get to go out there, really. So he cares about it as much as I do. And then the next day he's doing the same thing for somebody else where I'm off for 4 days or whatever it is. He's invested every single time like that's his one day of the week, except he does it every single day.
That's got to be mentally exhausting.
Yeah, for sure.
And physically.
Well, obviously. I mean, that part I know, but just hearing that, just thinking about the mental exhaustion of that.
We had fun talking to Bryce about pitch shape. And just how, what's gone into when he was in college, just basically fastball slider. And all of a sudden he gets to this level and does all the thing. And been a lot of conversation, Logan, with you about different pitches in your arsenal. Anything new for this season in that regard? Any sharpening of some stuff? Or is that a constant?
I'm running out of ideas every offseason. I tried 2 different pitches every offseason. That only works for so long.
Yeah.
Most of the same stuff. What makes me successful is pretty similar. Slider, curve, split. I really didn't tweak those at all. Fastball. I just flipped my cutter grip, but it's basically the same pitch. I was still working on a 2-seam this offseason. It's just tough for my slot, the way my body moves.
Yeah.
Just recently, a few days ago, I've been playing around with a variation of a sinker, but I don't know if it'll make it out of camp. The last 3 years, it hasn't, thanks to Cal. Gets banged in the last week.
Did you know that your arm slot was a little lower last year?
Yeah.
Was that on purpose?
Not really. Not at first a ton. I think my body got more rotational, which I kind of trained that way, but my arm started moving in the slot of your shoulders. When you're moving well, it usually does. But as I'm getting more rotational instead of tilted, this is a higher slot when I'm, diagonal shoulders. When I'm level, my arm starts moving more in that plane. I think that's how it kind of dropped, and I just kind of leaned into it.
So it's almost like your arm angle hasn't changed with your shoulder, but your shoulder angle changed.
That's how I like to think if yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I asked Brian this question the other day, and I meant to ask Bryce, and I forgot, but I'm just sort of curious about it. If thinking about the most important stat for a pitcher, if you could improve in one of these categories, what would it be? Is it strikeouts, wins, innings pitched, quality starts, or ERA?
Oh, man. That's a good question.
And they're all great. I mean, it would be awesome to improve in any of those things.
That's a good question.
Is there any of those where you're like, hey, if I could improve in this, it would really help me, the team, whichever?
I think most pitchers would probably say ERA because it's somewhat all-encompassing. But it's so results based that even though secretly that's the answer, I don't let myself think about that. Innings is a huge thing for me because I think if I'm pitching a ton of innings, I'm probably doing the other things right. Quality starts come with that, strikeouts in a way, all that kind of stuff. And I think you're doing a service to the team by bullpen arms, them going back to back. They don't have to cover 5 innings, different things like that. I think it helps the team a lot.
Just looking at the baseball reference page for Logan Gilbert, Brock, bold. They bold
He
numbers.
doesn't look at that stuff.
When they're number 1 in the league. And I'm just looking at innings last year. 208.2 in bold. Right? Your innings have gone up every year of your career. Can you throw more than 208 and 2/3 innings?
Can I? I mean, yeah, I definitely can. I don't know. We'll see. A lot of things have to go right. And, I mean, first of all, just staying healthy, that's a huge blessing from God. That's just out of my hands. But a lot of training and then how the innings go. You have 33 starts. There's a lot of luck, good and bad, that goes along with it. So much is out of my control. But I brought up innings just to brag on myself. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Not that.
How is Dan's voice different, if at all, from your previous spring training down here?
Oh, it's been really fun to watch so far. It was a tough situation, tough timing last year. Just it was a weird circumstance, I feel like. And this year, I was kind of curious about it. And Dan's top 2 people I've ever met in baseball with AD. Them 2 are unbelievable. But it's just a new role. So this year, I really felt like right out of the gate, just pitchers and catchers camp, it was like, he belonged, he knew his spot, he knew the way he was going to lead us, it felt like, and mentioned a few different pillars and different things like that he wants this team this season to focus on, to be built on. So it's like has this initiative, he has this identity for the team, and we're following him.
I think one of those is 162 battles, right? I think he's kind of been on the record with that we're going to win, just go to battle for 162 of these suckers. What does that mean for a pitcher? What does that mean when you do 1 out of every 5 of those battles?
Yeah.
33 battles.
Yes. It's a big deal, and I try to keep it that way because you look back, I mean, it's frustrating, and we don't love to talk about it all the time, but we're within a game or 2 for the last however many years that the random Tuesday game in May could be the game that gets us in the playoffs. You know what I mean? And you have to think about it that way, especially as a starting pitcher, that if I get 33 of them and I'm watching 130, when it's my turn to have the ball, we have to win that game. That's how I have to think about it. And Dan's that old school catcher guy too, so I think we just click that way.
What are your parents like?
What are they like? Gosh, my dad kind of thinks like me, I would say, or I think like him. And my mom's very, very selfless person, very caring.
What did they give you along the way for your baseball journey?
So I think of my dad right away. It's been amazing how selfless he is, and he built a mound in the backyard just because I wanted to start pitching and transitioned, and I wasn't even sure if I wanted to play in college anymore, and he was kind of pushing me and trying to find a way to do it and helping me talk to college coaches, and just I feel like he navigated part of the road for me.
That's while you were in high school?
When I was in high school, yeah. So and then building the yard. I mean, he learned about pitching. He didn't play baseball really. He was like dirt bikes growing up in Arkansas. So like different world, but I started caring about pitching, and he learned everything that he could, read up everything that he could, so I could learn a little bit more.
Well, that's pretty amazing. Yeah. So who was it that got you pitching? If it wasn't him, who sort of started you down that road?
My brother. He started pitching before me. He was a couple years older. Played high school. Could have played small college, but chose not to. But I thought I was a hitter. Clearly wasn't good enough in high school. And I thought I would either be done with baseball or transition to be a pitcher like my brother, and worked out.
I've thought about building a mound.
Yeah, for Titus?
Yeah, but then you could just buy the turf mounds.
Yeah, it's a little easier now.
I think I'm going to do that this offseason, actually. I'm like, I love that mound, but I don't think I'm going to build a mound.
Well, once that arbitration money starts coming in, it's a little easier to just go out and buy yourself a turf mound and everything like that.
Save a few hours.
I don't mean to use that as a way of transitioning into, the uncomfortable topics of the business of baseball, but everything is on a clock, right, in this game. Well, now everything is actually on a clock, but, your time in the game is on a clock. Your time in a city is on the clock. As you start getting closer to that free agency deadline in a couple years, do you find yourself thinking about what the future holds for you?
It crosses your mind for sure, and year after year, the last couple years at least, your name loosely gets thrown in trade stuff. Half of it has no bearing probably, but that's just how the business goes. I love being here, and I'm not just saying that. I'm sure everybody on a headset would say that, but they've been good to me, and I feel like I've talked to other guys recently that come from other organizations, and they come here and how well we do pitching and how they help you understand yourself to be successful. I could have went to any team, and it could have probably gone really wrong, but I came here, and they helped me and established who I am. So I love being here, and hopefully it stays that way for a long time.
Are you someone, I asked the same question of Cal, are you someone that needs to go to free agency to find out what your value is, or are you comfortable signing a long-term deal before then?
I'm definitely open to it. It has to be the right situation for sure, but I'm definitely open to it. We've had, loose talks, haven't gotten there, but it's been optimistic, I would say. Everybody wants to get to free agency. That's, the gold standard. You want to get there just to see what your market value is, what you're worth. But something could happen before that for sure. And it's long. I'm a Super 2, so I have 7 years before free agency. 7 years is a long time. So it's tough to actually make it to free agency.
I think card 26 in heavily stacked says, "I love it here."
Yeah.
I love it.
That's right.
It's just one of those cliches. You got to get it right.
I looked at it before I came out here.
Yes. I love it here. Logan, this is always one of our favorites.
Seriously, thank you. We do appreciate it. I love sitting down with you. Just love getting your perspective on the game. And it was pretty cool pitching in the All-Star, or being an All-Star last year, right?
Yeah, awesome. Hopefully more of that.
Who'd you hang out with while you were there? Who'd you get to meet?
Some of the other pitchers. Crochet is a really good guy, super talented. Reagan's. Talked to Scooble a little bit. Just fun being around those guys.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Good luck this year. We'll talk again.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Logan Gilbert, one of our favorites to chat with every year, and he delivered, I would say, once again. There's a lot in there for sure to talk through. Let's start at the end. He's open to the possibility of signing early. I know you've heard some rumblings around the league that maybe Logan would like to, that he would be hard to sign and would like to go maybe closer to Florida.
Florida guy, Florida home,
but
South.
If that's true, he certainly sounds, and I take Logan at his word. I don't think he's a guy who would, lie about something like that. It's not easy to come together on a deal, but he certainly seems to understand the value of pitching.
Super 2 in 7 years, and what did he say? He's just about at 4.
The other way around. I thought Super 2 would mean he would only have to wait 5 years.
Oh, really?
I'm a little confused by that, but regardless, he's 2028 is his first shot at free agency.
Sure love to see it. You kind of want to build equity and kind of want to build trust, and you're going to hear from Cal Raleigh tomorrow. And as we taped that interview with him yesterday, you're going to hear, I think, a somewhat similar sentiment that, no, I am not going to just wait till free agency and just hold out if it's the right deal. And, there's been, what did he say, some kind of soft conversations? And there's certainly no urgency on the organizational side. You got a ton of time and a lot of years. But to build further equity, draft, develop, and trade. And when you draft and when you develop, as you've done with Logan, as you've done with George, as you've done with these guys, maybe it's draft, develop, and pay. Because the trade component of it, as we have seen, is a little murky at times, a little more difficult. But draft, develop, and pay.
When he says Super 2, let me just see if I can clarify as I think through it. Super 2 means he gets to arbitration a year early. So his third year becomes an arbitration year instead of another minimum year.
Gotcha.
I believe that's how it works.
Okay. Well, the text toy will let you know.
I'm sure if I've said anything wrong, the text toy will be more than willing
will DM me
to
and let me know.
And somebody else is saying that we should stop being so mean to Maura, that she's the glue of our show.
What?
How have we, first of all, I think it's kind of fun to be mean to Maura. Second of all, when were we mean to her?
Never.
Lyle was telling me off air yesterday that he thinks it's because he hasn't been on as much. He's like, oh, now they're picking on you because I'm not there.
Do you think we just need someone to pick on at all times? Yeah,
probably.
That just probably
tracks.
That probably tracks. That sounds about right. Bryce Miller's going to join us coming up in a half hour at 9:30. We'll be right back. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710, SeattleSports.com, live from Peoria, Arizona.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
We are now speaking with the architect of your Seattle Seahawks.
How we doing, football fans?
With Seahawks President of Football Operations and General Manager John Schneider.
My job is to do what's best for the Seattle Seahawks organization. I have to keep wrapping my mind around that and trying to communicate effectively.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What's the standard the Seahawks defense needs to be held to under Mike McDonald?
The John Schneider Show.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Calling all pickleballers, Champions of Change and Safeway announced a multi-city pickleball tournament, including celebrity games with Seahawk legends Doug Baldwin, Mike Bennett, Cliff Averill, and more. In collaboration, Nourishing Champions campaign will be raising awareness and accepting donations to provide nutritious foods for student athletes in under-resourced high schools. You can help by donating at your local Safeway checkout. Open to all. The tournaments are in Seattle, Lacey, and Spokane. Register today at championsofchangefoundation.org/pickleball.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. I'm here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn of None Better Tax Resolution. When you're dealing with business owners and the idea that they owe money to the IRS and they feel like they might be letting their staff down, and it just spirals out of control.
One thing I see with businesses, it's really tough because they have employees and maybe they're having a difficult time with the cash flow of the business. Then unfortunately, what a business often does is they quit making their payroll tax deposits, which is really about the worst thing you could be doing. I mean, it's a telltale sign if you're doing that. Hey, get someone that can help you kind of look at your business and see if things can be changed so that you can operate your business better and make those payroll tax deposits. Because let me tell you this, the IRS is on those right away.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, you have to call Greg Nunn of None Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Mariners single game tickets are on sale now. The squad will be back in action before you know it. And now's the time to lock in your seats for the biggest games this season. Don't miss opening day on March 27th, Ichiro Hall of Fame weekend, August 8th through 10th, and matchups versus the Dodgers, Yankees, and more. Plus, check out 30 value games with tickets starting at just $10. Go to Mariners.com to get your tickets today.
A deep blast. This is gone. Home run. Julio.
This This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get his freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
All right, we'll see if we can get through the next 7 or 8 minutes without Brock leaving his post here, because there's a football being thrown by an 11-year-old kid, and Brock can't help but judge, can't help but want to coach, can't help but try to teach.
You know what else I realized doing this as long as we have? Yeah. We realize a lot of things, many of which I can't share because I do have a filter, thankfully. One day I won't.
I'm glad.
You also realize these scouts, GMs across different sports are all enamored with, like, the other sports, too.
Yeah.
Like, I was chatting with Justin Hollander and just talking. He's a big Buckeye, and, and they're going to have, like, 10 dudes drafted. But, equally, how do they go about finding their people and projecting their people at the NFL level? NFL guys about, baseball guys.
That shouldn't be a huge surprise, right? I mean, like, most of the people who work in sports are in sports because they love sports.
That's right.
And he found his way into baseball, but I'm sure Justin and like a lot of other people loved football growing up or loved hockey. Michael Saunders was here. He was a big hockey guy growing up as well. Like, it just...
And remember, John
I was talking to
Schneider.
Dan Wilson about Cecily playing hockey, and he said, I played through high school. I mean, like, grew up in Minnesota. Like, these guys are all athletes.
Are you getting paid, by the way, the number of times you mentioned the Kraken junior team?
Oh, my gosh.
Do you get it? Is there, like, a kickback?
I wish.
I mean, every day.
I wish. I don't have any money left because hockey, as much as I love it as a youth sport, dear Lord, it's like you need an ATM just to...
What's the sportsplex up there?
Huh? Kraken Complex?
Yeah.
Iceplex?
Yeah, every time you say Kraken Iceplex,
I wish.
you get a little...
Brock, believe me, from your mouth to God's ears.
Okay.
That's exactly
All
what
right.
I need.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk through some John Schneider. He spoke for a while yesterday. We've gone through some of the Geno stuff and need to know.
Yeah.
Let me play you something else from Schneider. Here he is in cut 9 on the role that his new offensive line coach, John Benton, he's one of the 7 guys they've brought in to help with the offensive line and the running game. Here he is on the role John Benton will play in evaluating, as you just said, some of those offensive linemen.
Huge. Yeah. We don't want to have a player that doesn't want to coach. And so he's so experienced in the system. It's basically like having Alex Gibbs back and Tom Cable back. Those guys are so experienced in a specific. I think you have to be careful with this system is at guard and center you can't get too light. You want to be quick off the ball, but we got a little light in there for a couple of years. With the rest, so those guys are kind of sitting on his lap, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I love you. I really do. I appreciate you, and Maura as well. Am I going to have either of you go buy the steak that I'm cooking tomorrow night?
No, but...
No, I am not.
I think some of this speaks...
No, I'm not. I know exactly
you don't
what
trust
I want.
us.
I know exactly what I'm looking for. I know exactly how I'm going to prepare it.
Okay.
Did I have to go scout out the Weber Grill at the house? You're darn right I did.
Who are you in this scenario? Are you John Benton? Okay,
sure
I was
am.
worried you were John Schneider.
No,
okay.
I'm John Benton. No.
I totally agree with you, but is this a change? I don't feel that that maybe Andy Dickerson was having a say in who they were
think
drafting.
Tom Cable did.
Tom Cable would be
back
the
in the
last
day.
one you lean into who really knew exactly the kind of guy he wanted.
Who
right?
was here? I'm trying to remember.
There was a Mike Solari.
Yeah.
Mike Solari, I believe, followed a Tom Cable and Dickerson, and obviously Scott Huff, a first-time NFL O-line
was
coach.
Solari here with Schottenheimer?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yep, I believe so. And, yeah, but this is one that is, honestly, like, I love you guys, but I'm not going to trust you to get the steaks that I'm going to cook for you guys tomorrow night. I want the groceries, and I know how to prepare it, and we're going to put together
I mean, that's
a good meal.
cool, but John Benton isn't a head coach. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. He
Yeah.
should absolutely be involved. And this, I think, speaks to, our guy Roger in T-Town called on Friday. Oh, you weren't here. You were out on Friday. Our guy Roger in Tacoma, probably...
For open phone lines?
For open phone lines.
Fella Cootie?
And, yeah, a little Fella Cootie in effect. And he basically made the point that he thinks John Schneider should go.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that is necessarily a valid point, But he was
He doesn't
done.
trust his evaluation at that position.
And that was that was essentially what it came down to. He said, I don't think John should be the one trusted to find this team's offensive line because he hasn't been able to do it thus far.
Yep.
There's whether or not John needs to be fired because of that, to me, is a bit of a stretch. But there is obviously some validity to the challenges they've had finding offensive linemen.
In particular, interior offensive linemen.
So
because I'd say Russell Okung and Charles Cross, pretty good.
Yeah.
I'd say Abe Lucas and right tackle, pretty good. Your interior offensive line, to Roger the Guard's point, certainly up for evaluation.
So does this help that?
This is a very clear, I've not been good enough. We've not been good enough. For whatever varying different reasons, we've missed on a few. So let me bring somebody in that knows exactly the kind of groceries he wants and how he's going to cook them. And not just someone in Benton, but then a Dennison and then like all of the corresponding pieces so they can all make the meal together and know exactly like, nope, I'm sorry, we're not going to give on that. I think I've told you this before. Chris Spielman, fun conversations I've had with Chris as he's gone from the booth to president there with Detroit. And something he will say all the time is you got to be unapologetic about your conviction, period, end of story. Once you start getting in that game, well, I don't really love this, but we can mold, you know what, we can coach this out of him. We're going to shape, nope, unapologetic. You better know exactly what you are looking for and be unapologetic about it.
The other biggest conversation here, of course, is just the Geno conversation, right? And what is the future of Geno Smith with the Seahawks? How are the negotiations going? Are the negotiations going? John spoke to it in a few different ways. He did say they'd be meeting with Geno's agents. He did say Geno was their guy. Here he is, cut 4, expanding on what Geno wants and how much he wants to be paid.
Yeah, I'm really good friends with his agent. He's got a really choppy feel with his agent. Played at Penn State. I feel old, dude, but scouted him too. Yeah, we've had great conversations with him. But obviously, he's confident. I mean, that's the way he rolls. So, I don't want to get into specific conversations.
Yeah, he's confident. He wants $50 million. Okay, well,
is that sort of what it sounds like?
Yeah, to me, that's what that is. Like, yeah, I know him. I've done a lot of deals with him. There's nothing new here. By the way, should we give credit where we got the sound from?
Yeah, Michael Shundegar, huge thanks. He's at the Combine.
Appreciate that.
Some of that stuff didn't come from the podium.
Nope.
He's got an article up today at The Athletic in Seattle kind of going through a lot of what John had to say, and Michael does a great job. So go check that out, and a big thanks to him for helping us out.
So over, shrimp cocktail at St. Elmo's tonight or, a beer or two. Well, what do you think? We're thinking $50 million. Great, we're not. I mean, that's awesome. So we're good friends. Like, let's walk through this. But I think that's probably their starting point is, like Trevor Lawrence and Tua. And then John will be like, yep, they're in their 20s. And we're 35 in the fall. And, let's just, maybe the second shrimp cocktail with the really hot wasabi sauce and things really get going further. Well, what about 45? What about 42 and a half? What about...
Do you have a number in mind?
I honestly, you said Greg Bishop was so good that day with you guys, and then he went on with Wyman and Bob. That still, for some reason, is bouncing around my 5
What did he say? Love him at 30, like him at 35.
Love him at 35. And every $5 million after that is a little bit less love him. Still really like it at 40. 45, not so much, and 50 is not a good deal.
Right.
And that's kind of... I've kind of stacked that thing out in my mind a little bit.
Do you think if Geno's coming in saying 50,
do
you think that 45 is going to end up being their low at like, hey, we're not taking
What's
less
the difference
than
between 35 and 50? 7.5, 42.5. How about we get an average annual salary and we'll move things around, we'll guarantee this or that, but how about we settle around 42.5?
And you feel good there?
To me, that's
everyone's a little uncomfortable.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
Team's
everybody.
like, it's a little more than we want.
Right.
The players like, it's not quite what I want.
That's right.
And maybe that's the spot in the middle where it all gets.
We just got the deal done right there.
No, that was great. It's great doing business with you.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you.
Good friend.
That's a good handshake.
Can we do a deal to add shrimp cocktail to the
You want that tomorrow night?
Really
yes,
good.
actually, that sounds. Do you do homemade cocktail sauce?
I haven't.
I would be happy to do that.
Oh.
I would be happy to do the cocktail sauce.
Wow.
Yeah, I would be
me,
happy.
Mister, I'm just going to come eat.
I'd even get the. You want me to get the shrimp and the cocktail sauce?
Why don't you do that?
All right, I will be in charge. How much do you think we need? Does Justin eat that?
I don't know.
Lyle, you eat shrimp? Cocktail sauce? You good with that, TJ? Are you a shrimp and cocktail guy? No, no. He looks at it with disdain.
Well, have they been...
Wow.
I mean, let's be clear. Have they been invited?
No,
formally
not
yet?
necessarily.
Okay.
And I think
All right.
TJ
All right.
just earned himself an invitation.
Good.
All right. Coming up next, we'll give you guys everything you need to know. Bryce Miller in 20. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
All teams on the East Coast are better and more important and deserving of full coverage, and we've always said this.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
It's true. Clearly. I love me some East Coast teams.
I love East Coast bias. It's not even bias, it's just truth.
It is.
You know how I feel about my East Coast teams.
No, I'm just aggressive because of the East. I like the East Coast aggressiveness.
Yeah,
that
same.
is who I am.
I want to try to mimic it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hear the show anytime on demand by subscribing to the Bump and Stacy podcast.
Well, again, the weather down here in Peoria is just absurd. It is legit hot today. The sunscreen is out, the whole deal. But I know it's been awful back home. I know there were some legitimate windstorms, rain, the whole deal the other night. And if you look around and there's a problem with your roof after that, you got to call Riverside Roofing. These are my guys. This is the roofing company you can trust. And, yeah, there's a bunch of reasons for that, right? They're GAF Master Elite certified. That's the elite 3%. They're also 35 years plus of experience. They got the catch-all system so that when they're doing the work, they keep your yard, your driveway totally clear of debris. And they're family-owned with local roots. They got the stamp of approval from the Salk household itself. That's right. Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust in a sea of thousands of competitors. They stand out. And guess what? They got openings this winter for your roof project. So have them out to your house this week. Call 425-949-8252. When you talk to Brandon, that's Don's son, make sure you mention this station or my name. He'll give you $1,000 off the price of a roof replacement. That's right. Call 425-949-8252 or go to riversideroofingllc.com.
Hey, Brock Gilbert here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Swedish Cyberknife has been serving the Pacific Northwest with innovative and compassionate care since 2006. The Cyberknife system, with advanced tracking technology and robotic design, keeps the radiation on target even with tumor or patient movement. Being able to precisely and accurately deliver radiation makes a difference in terms of controlling cancer and reducing the risk of side effects. And the treatment is completed in only 5 sessions, lasting less than an hour. But the technology is only half the story. The skilled and dedicated team of providers and caregivers match the technology by providing unparalleled, personalized treatment plans and compassionate care. They are committed to patient-focused care, partnering with the patient and their families. The results speak for themselves. Patient surveys consistently give Swedish Cyberknife the highest of rankings. When diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider treatment with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/Cyberknife Prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
It's time to go all in at Toyota of Kirkland. All in on their commitment to quality, innovation, and durability that makes Toyota of Kirkland certified pre-owned and used vehicles the best in the market. When a product is made better, it lasts longer, and Toyota of Kirkland is the place to be to go all in on your next used vehicle for that reason. With a large inventory of certified pre-owned and used vehicles with incredible savings, why not visit their wonderful staff and beautiful showroom today at Toyota of Kirkland or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and go all in on your next car.
O'Brien. At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we are committed to giving you quality workmanship and white glove service that exceed your expectations. Get our exclusive leak armor installation backed by a lifetime warranty. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. This summer, experience breathtaking Cascade views and world-class dining. Elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
The bats, Brock, the bats. The Mariners have brought the bats out here in Peoria, and the whooping sticks, quite frankly. The last 3 games, they're dominating offensively, not with pitching, with offense. 3 straight games down here. They've dropped 10 spots or more, 11, 12, and then yesterday 11 again. Mitch Garver going the other way for a little Oppo Taco home run. And then I like this one. I think everybody did. Cut one. Dan Wilson referenced it. Julio going the other way. Yeah, you'll take more of this.
The line next offer. Swing and a line drive into the gap in right center field. Down for extra bases. All the way to the wall on a hop. Heading for home is Williamson. Cole Young being waved around third by Chris. Here's the relay to the plate, not in time. Young scores standing up. And Julio Rodriguez into second base with a 2-out, 2-run double. The Mariners tack on 2 more and now lead the Dodgers 4-1. And that ball was a frozen rope into right field.
I wonder if we'll ever hear that combination later this year. Julio driving in Ben Williamson and Cole Young.
I mean, those would be 2 of the young guys
They're
that
the
could run this thing down.
They are the 2.
They are.
More than anyone
ready.
else this year, they are the 2 that I think we're talking about.
Yep. I don't think there's any question. I got to see a little Colt Emerson in the cages there doing his thing. And actually, he came up to bat, and we had some great seats yesterday at Camelback, and he walked the dugout, and my mom said, how old is he? I mean, he looks like he's Titus's age. Yeah. I mean, his body doesn't, but he's just face. And so many of those young guys that are, you know, the next wave, as Dan Wilson said, but those would be the 2. If you're a Mariner fan wondering, okay, when are we going to see some of this youth? When are we going to see some of these next young players? I think those are the 2 over the next 4 weeks of camp. Ben Williamson, Cole Young, keep it on.
And it's been a little hard. We're not getting a chance to see Cole in the field. He's got a little shoulder thing, so he's just DHing right now. But, man, I got my little baseball crush right now on Ben Williamson. It started last year while we were down here from afar, and then I don't know. He's 24. He's kind of age.
I mean, you've always loved the William and Mary guys, the Tribe. I mean, you've always loved those guys. So you've always been a fan of that.
William and Mary.
Yeah, William and Mary.
That's where my cousin went to school.
Beautiful school.
Absolutely. George Kirby going to make his first start today against the A's here in Peoria. And that should be nice for the A's to play in like an actual big league park today. I'm sure they'll enjoy that.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Yeah, we just went through some of the sound from John Schneider yesterday at the Combine. Knows agents about an extension and says she knows their guy. Now, that doesn't mean they're able to get it done. They still have got to find a number that is going to work. Cut 7. He was asked whether there's a deadline to get that deal done.
No, he's got another year. We expect him to be our guy, but we want to do what's right, too.
Okay, so he's got another year.
Yep.
We expect him to be our guy.
Yep.
But we've got to do what's right.
That's right. Yep. I kind of like the way
he's not going to give away his leverage.
No.
We need Gino or else we're going to fold the franchise. I mean,
but remember, there is a little bit of a deadline, and it's not, after next season. It is coming up here with a new league year and a lot of guaranteed money that comes and gets triggered with his contract and the way it's labeled out.
Yeah, he did also say they've met with Ernest Jones and will meet soon with Tyler Lockett's agent as well. Are we still under the exact same? It's just not going to be possible to get something done with Tyler, right?
I mean, would he do a minimum deal?
What if he did?
With some incentives?
Would you say yes to that, or are you just ready to move on? I mean, I think that's the real thing, is if Tyler's here, do you have to use him, and does he fit with this style of what you're trying to do?
I'd sure like to watch the draft play out. Sure like to see if there's a mid-round, really fast receiver, something in there to mix it up a little bit. But never, ever, ever say never.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Jason Peters has retired. Long-time lineman who's been with the Seahawks the last couple of years. He's going to stay with the team, actually, in a veteran mentor type of role, so we'll see what that looks like.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
You know what they need, Mike? You know what they need?
A veteran mentor?
Yeah, just more O-line help.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they do.
I mean, you truly, genuinely have everything
So now
covered.
your offensive line, you're going to have the offensive line coach. Yes. You're going to have
assistant O-line coach.
Assistant O-line coach.
Run game coordinator.
Run game
analyst.
Specialist. And a veteran mentor offensive lineman. That's 5.
That's it. The 5th was for the thumb. Yep, that's it.
Was for the thumb. Well, I don't even want to keep talking about the
7-2?
7-2 last night, cracking at their doors
Not
blown off in St. Louis. Not competitive. Can't have it. Joey DeCord pulled after 5. Riker Evans and Brandon Montour were both a -3 on the night. That's awful. They're off until Saturday when they take on Vancouver at home. That's everything you need to know. Quarter past every hour here on the Brock and Salk show. All right, so let me just kind of set it up. We've already taped with Bryce Miller. You guys are going to hear that in 10 minutes. We've taped with Cal Raleigh. My guess is you guys are going to hear that tomorrow, and I would bet at 8:30. I think that's probably when you're going to hear from Cal.
Okay.
When the show ends today and batting practice comes to a close, we are supposed to tape with some guy named Julio Rodriguez. I chatted with Julio early this morning. I will say this. Julio is always in the 4 years that we've seen him here, among the first people here. I'm not going to sit here and say he's absolutely the first. I don't know whether that's true or not. But I have not seen him. He gets here before 7 a.m. every day, and he is one of the few people I can say that about. Now, I don't know what that means. Observation, it's something everyone should know. Not every superstar is like that.
Oh, no.
And he is at a point right now where I think he's trying to earn that title of superstar. So we're going to hopefully chat with Julio. He was incredibly gracious when I talked to him this morning, said that today should work for him. So we're going to work around his schedule, hopefully tape today. And if that works out, I would think you'll play that. We'll play that Friday at 8:30, don't you think?
I think so.
Does that sound right? Cal tomorrow, Julio
unless
Friday?
Unless there is something just so stunning.
So stunning.
That you just have to
do it.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Then we maybe play
Hey,
lower there.
we have just a minute or two here before we play Bryce Miller, but I thought it would be worth noting for all of the Logan Gilbert stuff, and there was some of the newsy stuff in there, as we said, both he and Cal both saying they are open to talking extensions, don't need to go to free agency. How about the stuff about Luis Castillo? Wasn't that cool?
Yeah, when you see his name mentioned all offseason, when you get away from it and have that kind of separation and distance, you're like, well, of course you could trade him. He would have tremendous value. He could bring this or that back.
He would save you the money to spend somewhere else.
That's exactly right. That is so easy to do kind of outside the lab. But then when you actually get in the lab and you see the secret ingredients and the stuff that's like, oh, gosh, that's really hard to replace.
A lot of innings, a lot of quality starts, a lot of just the right vibe to kind of even and balance this group out. Yeah, I mean, look, you know me. I am just an unabashed fan.
Genuinely taking care of your teammates, to buy them a watch, Not like the Pharisees who had to tell everybody what they were doing and what their prayers were, just behind the scenes, total humility, put it in his locker.
That story about the watch is pretty good.
It's pretty stinking cool.
Pretty good.
Whoa.
All right.
Whoa, Brock, look at you.
He finished the whole coffee, or is it clean?
No.
It's full, but it's really neat. There's no,
no stains, no
there's
nothing.
not a coffee mess everywhere today.
Yeah, that's the venti blonde roast espresso.
No.
3 shots.
Stop.
Something.
Venti
some almond milk and
just had a couple
stevia.
shots.
I don't know.
Almond milk.
Very confusing. Bryce Miller's more of a simple man, and he will join us next. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
The Mariners win the AL West if what? There is a longing for a good team that I have, that everyone from around here has, that creates a lot of emotions. Simultaneously, I want to feel excited about this season.
Yes.
I want to see a path.
The Mariners win the American League West if Julio Rodriguez reaches his fullest potential. I think if Julio Rodriguez is the MVP candidate that we all know that he has inside of himself.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
All right, Mike Salk here, and I know the weather has been pretty lousy at home. I'm sorry, I don't mean to say that while I sit here in 85-degree heat, but it's true. Now, if your house is extra cold, if it's extra drafty, if you're having any leaking or anything like that, you got to make sure you call Crawl Pros and have them out to your house. It could be that your attic or crawl space aren't properly insulated. That's what I did. They came out and they got everything all fixed up. Now, even better right now, utility companies have special incentives to help with the cost of having your home properly insulated. So Puget Sound Energy, if you are a PSE customer and your house was built before 1990, you could qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space and attic. That deal is insane, 95%. Don't wait. Take advantage of these incredible rebates today. Call Crawl Pros and learn what's going on behind the crawl space or attic hatch for free. If you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
Need a break from everything? Escape to a place where anything is possible and the fun never stops. At Silver Reef Casino Resort, you'll discover world-class dining, championship caliber golf, and so much more. Come join the fun and see why we've been consistently rated one of the region's top destinations. Visit silverreefcasino.com to book your stay and discover all the exciting events and promotions we have in store for you. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5, exit 260.
Find out more at silverreefcasino.com.
Got neighbors? Big Trees can help. This is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. If you've been considering planting trees to add privacy, look no further than Big Trees. Privacy trees fill in empty spaces, help to define property lines, and add curb appeal. Learn more about Big Trees' big supply of privacy trees at bigtreesupply.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
Febreze. It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
Discover LeMay, America's Car Museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and the Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit AmericasCarMuseum.org.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi. My daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are gonna need a bigger cake.
Now through March 4th, get fast, reliable Xfinity Gig Internet for $25 a month for 1 year with no annual contract and Wi-Fi equipment included when you add an unlimited mobile line. And ask how to get an eligible free 5G phone with trade-in. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Requires PayPal split on auto-pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced mobile speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds and actual internet speeds vary.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, we've been waiting on this one, Brock. Excited to sit down with Mariners pitcher Bryce Miller, who's stopping by. Good morning, Bryce.
Morning. How are you?
We're great. How's camp? How is it here in another year? And you kind of come in with a set place, and you know who you are, and you know who your teammates are, and you know what your rotation is. What's that level of confidence coming into a camp like this?
Yeah, it's good. Definitely, for me personally, a lot different than the last couple of years. Coming in, kind of, I ended the season pretty good and on a heater, and just coming into this year, trying to carry it over and continue the success moving forward. And I think us as a staff, after last season, we know obviously we had a really good season on the mound, and we're just, going to continue to push each other to get better and try to keep it up and continue to give us a chance to win.
You enjoy this, huh? They had you mic'd up the other day. I think I watched that video 3 times.
Yeah, it was a good video. They did a good job. That's just a normal day.
That is a normal day.
Mm-hmm.
So you just squawk all day at everybody?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, today I'm kind of on brash, but giving Sauce a break. But
so were you born this way?
I think so.
Were you?
You got siblings?
No, just me.
So it's just you.
You're a lonely only?
I am.
Really?
Yeah, so it's when I'm here, it's that's as close as it gets to
family.
Yeah, so
brothers.
So
you
like
kind of
to
take
fun.
on the little brother role and just start teasing everyone else?
Big brother role.
It feels like a little brother. No? What do you think?
Instigator role.
Instigator.
I like to instigate, especially
middle child role, maybe.
Yeah, especially the guys that you get a good response out of. So that would be Sauce. He's probably the main culprit.
Because he what?
You just you get a good response out of it. It's entertaining for myself. Maybe not for him.
And then why brash?
It's a completely different response than Sauce. I think Brash kind of sometimes he gets a little emotional. So it's fun to see. It's fun to mess with him.
Trying to make him cry?
Sometimes I think he might cry. I don't know.
Jeez.
Do you think
I feel bad for him.
No, he's not crying.
Bryce, do you think it's like this other places? Your buddies in baseball from A&M and otherwise, and all the training you guys do now. Do you feel like this place is unique relationally? The closeness that you have with Logan and, George and the fun y'all have? Or do you think this would be fairly common in the other 29 big league camps?
I'm not sure. I mean, this is where I've come up, and this is all I've known. But I do think it's got to be pretty unique just with how close that we are as a staff. And really the whole team is a pretty young team, and we all hang out together outside of the field, and we have a lot of fun. So I think it's pretty valuable in itself, having a team that feels like, I can go up and talk to anybody in the clubhouse and joke with them or talk serious. Like we're able to do all that. And I would have to guess it's pretty unique, especially within the staff. It's going on year 3 of all 5 of us, year 3, and it's just a really good group.
Do you clearly you guys have a lot of fun, and clearly we see you guys joking with each other and teasing each other and all of that. We know you guys like to work with each other and go through spin rates and little tweaks, and you watch each other's bullpens and all that. Do you guys have serious life conversations as well? Is there a brotherhood? I mean, you guys are all around the same age, going through the same life decisions with marriage and families and everything else that could come up in your mid to late 20s. How much are you guys having the serious life conversations?
Yeah, it happens. I wouldn't say as much as just our casual messing around conversations, but it's a long season, and all of us go through different parts of the season where we're at a high or we're at a low, and that could be on the field or off the field, and that kind of goes back to just how close we are. We're able to talk to each other about what's going on off the field or what's going on the field and how we're feeling about stuff, and so it's definitely it's a good thing to be able to have those people to talk to and to lean on like when you need them, because it's this being all over the place and all over the country and places that you're not familiar with. Like you got to have a way to kind of like detach and separate from the field, and like I said, everybody goes through stuff, so you definitely need those guys to be able to talk to.
So you talk about highs and lows, and you've kind of gone through a little of both of them, but a lot more highs, thankfully. When did things click for you as a pitcher?
I think I've had a couple, like right whenever I got called up, like things were going so easy and so good. I was just every 5th day going out there and throwing.
Well, we've been having the series
half last year, but I really didn't put it all together until the second half. And I think there's multiple reasons for that, but one being I added the curveball that I took from Mike Bowman. I messed around with the cutter a little bit, and really I was just trying to focus on like being more present day to day and preparing a little better mentally, because you look back at the 24 season, like I circled 2 games in the first half that that came back to bite me, or that I didn't like the outcome, and those were Kansas City and Miami, and I circled those games just because I didn't feel like those were really my 2 blow-up starts of the first half, but I didn't feel like I got beat by the other team. It was more mentally. Like those 2 games, I kind of, we got out in Kansas City to a huge lead in the first inning, and then I kind of let off the gas a little bit and let them claw back, and then Miami just kind of came out slow and didn't prepare mentally how I would other games. And going into the back half of the season, I think kind of learned from that and used my new pitches, a little differently, and I felt like I was a lot more mentally prepared going into each start, and I trust all my stuff and have 7 pitches now that I can trust, and it's just at the end of the day it comes down to execution and not letting a single pitch slide by.
Did you say 7?
Yeah, he said 7.
7.
I've heard that story about Bowman, that you just saw him like throwing that curveball one day. We're like, I'm going to throw that in a game tonight. Scott was like, you are?
How do you grip your curve?
So I go off the splitter grip. I just pull this up.
Just right there.
And just rip it like a heater.
Do you always start in the glove splitter grip?
Yeah.
Yeah. How come?
I have to, just because like I push it way down deep, like to the palm, and
yeah,
it's just a very difficult grip to get to if
you don't start
if
there.
I'm not started.
Gotcha.
Like if I started with just a heater grip and like I wanted to throw a splitter, like it'd be really obvious. I'd be digging in my glove trying to get it.
So you get all the way to the palm there, and that's where it all starts.
Yeah, everything starts here and then adjust from
so
there.
what are the can you do it quickly? If that's the starting spot, that's your splitter, you're throwing that. What are the other 6?
Yeah, so we got split, and then we got the 4, sinker. We got the hard slider, the gyro. We got the sweeper right here, and then we got the curveball, and then the cutter is right here. So
the cutter's there. How much of that is grip versus where the pressure points are on each of that, or are they just synonymous?
I think it depends pitch by pitch. Really, everything is just grip except for the cutter. I try to squeeze more middle finger and try to keep this finger, the index finger, out of the way. That kind of helps me. If I'm not thinking middle finger, then I get behind it too much, and it's just a bad fastball. So that's not what we want. But everything else, it's just I've always been like I don't like to think, mid pitch or whatever to manipulate the ball in any way. I like it to be like get a grip and just throw it as hard as I can.
Grip it and rip it.
Yeah.
So what did you do at A&M? I saw you speaking this year to the high school baseball coaches there in Texas. Really fun. And you said basically like you didn't know much of any of this, right, at A&M. So at A&M, did you even have the splitter at A&M?
No, I added the splitter last offseason. Right. So, no, at A&M I had just throw it as hard as I can, fastball, and I had the hard slider. I got the slider from junior college. That's where I added that.
Yeah.
And I had a loopy curveball that I'd play with that I just, just the traditional, just get out in front and throw it straight down. But it wasn't very good. So it was just mainly throw the fastball as hard as I can and throw the slider off of it. And it worked. It just I progressed really quickly once I got to pro ball and really dug into the analytics, and it was something that came pretty natural to me. Just being able to understand the analytics and how I can use that to manipulate shapes and see a shape and figure out how to get to it.
Why do you think some guys throw capably 5, 6, 7 pitches, and some guys are like, yeah, I'm good with 2. I don't want to mess around anymore. I'm going to throw these 2 all the time. What allows one person to succeed one way or the other?
I think the way that certain guys throw makes it easier to manipulate the ball in certain ways. And then there's also guys like Schneider, for example, where like just the heater and the slider are just so much ahead of anything else. It's like it's hard to, throw something different whenever you can succeed with just those 2. But for me, I've always had a little bit of cut on the heater, and I'm behind the ball, and things just I'm able to make a move and manipulate the shape relatively easily. So I don't really know how I got like that, but it's unfortunate.
Who taught you how to pitch?
I never had I didn't have a lifetime pitching coach or anything, and it was, I had a guy, David Wood, a long time ago, kind of set the foundation for me, and that was, I don't know, when I was 12 or around there. And, through high school, I didn't focus on pitching. I didn't really want to pitch. I wanted to hit. And it was just, I always would long toss. I took care of my arm. I would throw hard from the outfield. But that was my main purpose of doing arm care, was to throw people out from the outfield. And then just kind of came naturally as I progressed. And Coach Childress at A&M, he helped me, get down the mound quicker, and the drills that I do in my bullpens every day, those are from him. So it's just bits and pieces from my career throughout baseball, dating all the way back to Little League. It's kind of just how it came naturally. So I don't like to get very mechanical. I've never been like a super mechanical guy, and so it's just.
You and Logan are alike like that, right?
Yeah. No, I just like to, like, if something seems off, like it's all feel for me. So like, if it feels off, I'll just try to figure out what I need to do drill wise just to get that feeling back, and then I'm good.
Still think of yourself as a hitter?
I don't want to hit anymore.
No, you're all done with that?
Yeah.
Do you get in the traject machine and see what you look like or anything
I
like
want
that?
to. Every time I walk past it, I'm like, I want to see what it looks like with me up there. But and plus, I know I'm not going to get hit if it's the machine. So, no, that would be cool. But
they can do that. You want us to talk to them about that?
I've been trying.
They did that with Munoz. I think it was last year.
Did they?
They had him in there. I think they were trying to help the confidence. Like, hey, this is what you look like.
Yeah.
And they went in there. I was like, dear God, that's what I look like? I don't want to hit against that.
Hey, last thing for me, Bryce, you use that word feel, and I think this is our 16th spring training that they let us do this, believe it or not. And we've seen a lot of it. We've heard over the course of this week there's been a feeling that maybe the temperature's down just a little bit. That meeting to this, there's just kind of a little bit of, and this is from afar, and you don't have to agree with any of it, but just from hey, let this thing breathe a little bit. Let the guys breathe a little bit. How would you kind of characterize the difference between this camp with Dan and kind of some of the new voice and leadership, maybe to the last couple with the different regime?
Yeah, I think it is a little bit more laid back, but at the same time, I think we're also focusing on like making sure that we're ready to go game one. And I think that's something that we haven't done in the past is, we've kind of come out slow, and we've had guys that like doesn't seem like they're ready to go game one. And, you look at the last 2 years, we're 1 game short. So that could be, it doesn't have to be the last game of the year that is the one that causes us to not miss or not make the playoffs. Like there's a lot of games throughout the year that, especially, looking at last year, just in particular, that we felt like we blew early on. And just, I think that's one of the main things that is different this year. Like we're getting guys ABs early. Even if we're on the mound and we throw 1 or 2 innings early, like we're working in the weight room to make sure our bodies are still getting ready and building up for the season. And I think it's going to be good for us to hopefully come out strong and not really have the excuse of, it's early. It's something that has kind of bothered me the last couple of years, just coming out and, haven't just using that excuse like it's early. Like that's why we lost today. Like that shouldn't be an excuse. One of the teams is going to win. Like we can't just lean on that it's early and that it's going to come later in the year and just bank on us, putting a run together. So I think that's something that's going to be valuable for us. And we come out of the gate hot, and we, like Dan was saying, we don't even have to come out of the gate like firing hot, but just need to be consistent. And I think that'll be, we'll look, if we're consistent throughout the year, we'll look up at the end of the year and be in a much better spot. And we won't feel like we, have the added pressure to have the best August in franchise history to get back into it. So,
how long have you been growing that mustache?
I've had the mustache since college. It's gotten longer, but
it gets long.
Oh yeah,
it comes all the way down below the lip. That's impressive. I can't grow that much hair there. That's a lot.
It'll keep going. I gotta trim it, but
you do.
That's the only spot. I got if I could shift my beard up a little bit off the neck, that'd be nice. But
I was realizing I've never really sat and talked to you that like without that mustache, you look like much younger.
Oh yeah.
You got a baby face without that thing.
You get carded.
Yeah, I think you would get carded without that thing.
Yeah, no. In college, we had the mustache only rule. So like it was in the fall. It was mustache only, and so luckily that's all I could grow. So I was all in on it.
Hey, we appreciate it, Bryce. It's nice to get to chat with you. Nice to meet you, and looking forward to watching you this year.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, there you go. There was Bryce Miller wrapping up our day. It's been Bryce. It's been Logan. It's been Dan Wilson. Tomorrow it will be Cal Raleigh. We're hoping to talk to Julio. There's a lot going on here. I hope people have enjoyed these interviews. I really have. It's been really, again, sort of life-giving and energy-giving to talk to these guys and just get yourself a little bit more excited for this season.
Yeah, I would say last year, if you remember right, I really felt like, man, Logan's going to take a step. And just kind of watching him, interacting with him, obviously physically, he's so grown into his body. Remember early years, pretty gangly, parts moving, kind of like Randy was. Randy even longer at 6'10", and had to kind of find that rhythm. And you felt like last year Logan was going to take that step, and he did. Tell you what, man, I'm getting that same kind of vibe from Bryce. Yeah. You know, that he's just, you know, that feel that he has. It's kind of, I'm sure it's like a golfer. And I'm sure my buddy Tom that's listening right now would say, yeah, there's some guys that can just, through the feel and their mechanics, they can shape shots. And it's like, yeah, I can hit this little baby draw, or I can hit this hook, or I can hit this power fade. And it's, well, how do you do that? Well, you know, just kind of a little pressure here or there. And then you could try to teach somebody else that same thing, and you got no shot with it.
You may remember that last year or in this offseason, I did write a column about, you know, the 5 starters and whether it was time to trade one of them. And there were different reasons to not trade each of them. Ultimately, Kirby was the guy that I thought would be the best value to trade, combination of what you could get back, et cetera. Bryce was my absolute no deal. And, you know, Luis gets you back the money. Logan was a little closer to free agency and would bring you back so much in return. Woo, there's the injury concerns. But I couldn't come up with a reason why you would, why you would ever deal Bryce Miller. The combination of health, ability, upside, control. I mean, like, you name it. He kind of has
what is that
all
term?
of it
Smart
right
like
now.
a fox?
Yeah,
he's smart like a fox.
Yeah.
Like a Texarkana fox. Yes, right down there.
I don't think it's smart like a fox. It's
sly like a fox. Shrewd is no.
Crazy like a fox.
Crazy like a fox.
I don't know, man. Who can remember these
I
things?
can't.
All right, let me just play a couple quick cuts of some of what we've heard today, and one is actually something you're going to hear tomorrow. And for those, you know, as we talk about the long term, signing these guys long term, I think this is as big as it's going to get. Let me start with Logan Gilbert. We asked Logan, and because there's been some rumors, maybe he is not interested in a long term experience here in Seattle. Here's what Logan said when asked.
I'm definitely open to it. It has to be the right situation for sure, but I'm definitely open to it. We've had, loose talks. Haven't gotten there, but it's been optimistic, I would say. Everybody wants to get to free agency. That's, the gold standard. You want to get there just to see what your market value is, what you're worth. But something could happen before that for sure. And it's long. I'm a Super 2, so I have 7 years before free agency. 7 years is a long time. So it's tough to actually make it to free agency.
All right, so there you go. That was Logan saying, sure, it's a possibility. Here's a little preview of Cal Raleigh tomorrow, because we asked Cal almost the exact same question, and here was his answer.
Yeah, I've said it before, I would love nothing more to, play for one team my whole career. And, Seattle has been nothing but good to me. You guys and everyone else, they've welcomed me with open arms. And, the people are great. I love the city. I love this organization. And, I really would love that. Some of that's out of my hands, obviously.
But are you someone that feels you have to test free agency, you owe it to yourself to get and see what the open market is? Or is it a possibility to sign something before then?
No, I'm completely open to signing something before then. Like I said, I would love that, nothing more than that, to be with one team. And, I love this org. And I'm open to anything. I'm not closing any kind of, books or whatever it is, but
doors, maybe doors. I think doors are generally what you close there more than books, but either way, he's crazy like a fox. It's fine. That's great news, right? The fact that, and again, fired his agent last year, moved on from Scott Boras, has a new agent.
Salky, manage like a fan, you'll become a fan, right? And make moves just to make moves because it feels good emotionally, because it'll satisfy the fans. You probably will be a fan watching others in the World Series. But taking care of your own, you kind of want to build equity with the folks that are your customers, that love these guys, that have watched you train them up and develop them up and raise them up. It would go a long way, I think, to quieting some of that fervor.
I don't know if you heard what I heard, though, from Cal, and really kind of burying the lead, saying that we've been good to him, which is one of the reasons he likes it here so much. So I don't mean to put ourselves into the story, but geez, it sure sounds like Cal feels like we've been a pretty active part in his comfort here.
Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Self-esteem pretty low. Barista tried to help. The guy telling me I was a linebacker helped. When Bryce Miller was asked, someone else just said you look like Alan
He
Jackson.
didn't have any idea who that was.
No idea who
he couldn't remember you at
Self-esteem
all.
needs to be inflated daily.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, wow.
At this age and stage of
He's
life,
an ex-athlete, man.
Yeah.
They're megalomaniacs.
Does Molly find that exhausting?
Narcissists. He's away from Molly right now. That's why he needs to be built up so much.
That's right, Mark. Good question. Maybe ask her that.
The rest of that Cal Raleigh interview is tomorrow. It's great. We're going to hang out here for a little while without you guys and wait for Julio and hopefully get that set for Friday morning at 8:30. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. Stick around for Bump and Stacy next. And don't forget where the hay is, Brock.
Barn.
See you, everybody.
Get to the chopper!
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
The Mariners win the AL West if what? There is a longing for a good team that I have, that everyone from around here has, that creates a lot of emotions. Simultaneously, I want to feel excited about this season.
Yes.
I want to see a path.
The Mariners win the American League West if Julio Rodriguez reaches his fullest potential. I think if Julio Rodriguez is the MVP candidate that we all know that he has inside of himself.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
Calling all pickleballers, champions of